year of national championships here in Charleston, Lauren. This has become a really great place to celebrate our nationals, and I think with our 250th anniversary here, a great place to award some Stars and Stripes jerseys today.
Yeah, how great has Charleston been for the cycling community? Everyone has welcomed us and with open arms and learning about the sport of cycling, and it's been a lot of fun to be here and a little bit of a southern hospitality, I'd feel.
Well, riders getting ready on course right now. We are on for an 8 a.m. local start here for pro women. Kind of an early morning start for a lot of these riders. I know I heard some of the West Coast riders talking a little bit about the time change, and of course the Europeans making the journey back. They've always got to deal with that time change issue.
Yeah, but hey, these are professionals, and everyone was ready for this weekend, and especially for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be a huge day of racing out there. I want to talk about the importance of this event, especially obviously on our 250th anniversary here, but I know you chased this one for a long time. Talk about how important these Stars and Stripes jerseys are.
I did, and I was second to my teammates 2 years in a row, and one of those teammates is back here racing today. I cannot wait to talk about this, Megan Garnier, and it just means everything, and the whole idea that today is anybody's game, that no one has the jersey. Also, our race favorite from last year is not here this year, Kristen Faulkner, so all bets off. It's anybody's day.
Yeah, and of course, the unique part of nationals as well. A lot of riders going to be missing the teams that they're used to racing with. We heard from a lot of riders in our pre-race interviews about just how different nationals is. Whether you're coming back from Europe or you're an American team, it's always a little different than most of the races that you're used to.
It is, and you know, we talked a lot about to these athletes of what do you want to be told in your radio, in your ear. So, yeah, you know, it's just, and you also have different people in the team car, so different dynamic, but again, like professionals, and they're ready for today, and you just take what comes and you do your best.
Let's talk about some other big names we're looking for in this field. We talked about a former national champion now back in Megan Garnier. How exciting is this?
It's unbelievable, and the truth is that she is on a rim brake bike, and I know we will be talking a lot about her today. I cannot wait to see what she has in store. And
of course, you mentioned defending champion Kristen Faulkner not here. That'll be an interesting change this year.
Yeah, unfortunately, having some travel issues. Unfortunate, but you know, it's okay. And we have a lot of other. We do have a former national champion, and Lauren Stevens is here.
We'll talk more about Lauren Stevens today. She was in that lead group last year. I want to go back and talk about how 2025 played out, because a couple of those riders that were in contention or were part of that conversation are going to be back here. So as we go back to last year's race, it really started with the early separation from a lot of the names that we expected. We saw Kristen Faulkner immediately attacking on the Worths Avenue climb. This was more about positioning early on, but it sent a very clear message early on last year.
And also about whittling down the field and whittling down her competition to just the ones that she wants to look for.
We saw a few attacks that tried to go away, hopefully without some of those big names, but none of them were really able to get any big amounts of time. But you got to gamble, right? If you're going to go up against big names like this, you're not going to win just letting them take it to you on the climb.
No, and sending someone like Emma Langley, again, a former national champion, up the road, it is a clear threat, a very strong rider. That was a good move for, again, Lauren Stevens' team.
And remember, trying to set up this move that eventually found the separation off the front, and this would be the winning trio that would go to the line together. I think a lot of people expected a lot of separation at the front of this race, but these riders put on an awesome show last year in this lead group.
Yeah, and once you get into a break of three, just that attrition rate, you want to kind of stick together as long as possible until the very, very last minute.
And then same thing, Lauren Stevens attacking this group, trying to get rid of what was her biggest competition out of the break of three in Kristen Faulkner, but just could not shake Faulkner that last time up and over Worths Road.
Hey, man, shoot your shot when you have it and what you got, and that's exactly what Lauren.
Same thing, took a gamble in the sprint, gave herself a couple bike lengths, but in the end got caught by these two as Faulkner was able to close down the gap. Lauren Stevens just could not hold on into that sprint, and Faulkner jumps on the wheel of Stevens. I thought Stevens had it right here, but you'll see Faulkner with the perfect timing, and that's just good race IQ right there. So it comes down to a two-up sprint to the line where Kristen Faulkner earned the Stars and Stripes. Now, second and third place are back in Lauren Stevens and Catherine Sarkisov, but they're going to have some new names that they have to look out for, including Megan Garnier. And Some other surprise starters on the start list this year.
How about someone like Kate Courtney, who's already won a road race this year, and again, having someone like Rachel Hederman in her ear, that's going to be a spicy one as well.
We'll have plenty of wild cards out there as we take a look at last year's top 10. Plenty of returning names here as well, including Alexis Magner down in 9th place. She'll be racing with her EF Education Oatly squad this year in the pink jersey. So that'll be another rider to look out for. But again, only rider on that squad. She'll have no teammates without Faulkner here. So it'll be interesting to see how she decides to play that one today.
Also looking at the results, having Leah Shafi, seeing her ride around today. And she is back as well.
You see our riders preparing on Canal Boulevard, just along the river here. Should be a pretty clear day of racing today. We're not expecting any rain. There was some moisture that moved through last night, but we should be good to go for the rest of the day today. So here's your start list today. No number 1 on the list, with Kristen Faulkner deciding to sit this one out. So Sarkisov will wear number 2 along with her sister in number 3. But you'll see a lot of big names up here. The thing about Nationals is any one of these riders could be that wild card rider on the day today.
That's the beauty of Nationals. Also having the Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028 team here as well. Very animated race for them in the Criterium on Thursday night. Aegis Leaders of Enchantment, again, with quite the squad here today.
And they'll be supporting Lauren Stevens, but also developing some young talent on that squad as well. It'll be interesting to watch who they decide to dispatch in support of Stevens. Saw a great ride from Grace Arlinson in the Criterium on Thursday night. So see if she brings that fitness back. Competitive Edge Racing also up there. Galen Bullard with the top 10 last year. Going to be looking for another one of those results here. And then how about Team Winston-Salem Flow? Another one of the big programs out there that brought a pretty serious squad.
Yeah, and very much an underdog team, so I hope to see them being pretty aggressive early. United Cycling women's team out of Texas as well.
And then we go down to some of the, we'll call them one-off riders, or privateers is maybe the best way to describe it. I don't want to call them privateers because a lot of these riders do have teams. They just maybe don't have the international riders, or they don't have the support or schedule to get here. Not everyone is going to race nationals every year.
Right. Paige Onweller is someone, the Trek Driftless team down there at the very bottom of your screen. I'm really excited to see what she can do today. A really strong rider.
A lot of gravel names on this list as well. I see Cecilie Decker up there as well. I think they're going to be a major factor. We have been seeing more and more of these gravel riders that come on to the road scene, and I think shock a lot of riders, a lot of surprises for these gravel riders.
Well, I think strength is strength no matter what bike you're on. We've seen that time and time again historically, and now we're just putting it together that they need to just race all the different disciplines all year long. You're not really using a cyclocross to supplement or a track to supplement. You're using it as pure D racing and experience and results.
There's a great example of the modern American bike racer right there in Lauren Stevens, a mix of gravel and road. Obviously made sure that she targeted the road national championships, but you got to remember, a lot of these riders were doing 6, 7, 8 hour gravel races a week or two ago.
Right, and also Catherine Sarkisov, again, a cyclocross phenom, also one of our U23 champions just a day ago. So I'm glad that she's here, and she had such a good result last year, and I'm definitely looking for her to have a great result this year. Natalie Quinn also coming back from Europe, and another one of our U23 stars, no longer U23, but you know, such a strong athlete, and over here being a solo rider like we were talking about earlier. So excited to see what she can do today.
See a group of the Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028 riders over to the left-hand side as well. They'll be a big factor in this one, starting 6 on the roster. So they're going to be one of the teams with numbers out here, along with that Aegis Leaders of Enchantment team.
There's Megan Garnier right there in the white kit, black helmet. You know, this is so great. She's on the Project Super Training team. She actually has come back to directing the CCB team earlier this year. I saw her at Redlands. And, you know, just this, Megan is a former Olympian. She was in Brazil, in Rio in 2016. She raced on SD Works, Strada Bianchi winner, Giro Rosa winner. I mean, what a results list for her. y'all better watch out.
And let's not forget, 3-time national champion. Did it in 2012. Her last national championship was 2016, 10 years ago. She donned the Stars and Stripes jersey. So pretty amazing to see Megan Garnier back on the start line here in 2026. And then there's the other big name in the blue jersey. That's going to be Kate Courtney, the other huge wild card headed into the day today.
Again, you know, coming from mountain bike World Cups, marathon world champion, and now trying her hand at road and has been successful this spring already.
Or if you're a solo rider in this race, I know we asked a lot of these riders, but I'll ask your perspective before we get into it here. Talk to me a little bit about the importance of trying to figure out how to do this. I think we're going to pause for a national anthem here, actually. So let's pause for that before our national championships. Hard to match that feeling. National anthem, 250th anniversary, national championships, 2 minutes before the start. I wish they could see you in the booth. Lauren's got goosebumps.
I do. It's a special day. I mean, it just means so much to win national championships, and you get to carry that jersey for a year, and you get that clout and that recognition, and it means a lot. We
didn't even mention the 2028 Olympic run coming up as a lot of these riders get ready for LA 2028. That starts right now at the 2026 National Championships.
Right. These athletes are already starting to prepare, this far out, their calendar, their years, their A races, and how to get to LA 2028. And the importance of that being home soil Olympics is massive.
Describe this feeling on the line. Is it nerves? Is it energy? Is it calm? What did it feel? Yeah, all of those.
Yeah. You've done radio check, but even just to have one more, all right, deep breath, kind of just pull your shoulders out of your ears and just, the day is yours.
Right there, yeah.
And there's a lot of racing, right? So just get those first couple pedal strokes under yourself, and then we start racing for the day.
All right, pro women off and rolling. We are underway on your Scott Bikes live stream at the 2026 USA Cycling Professional Road National Championships.
These ladies are going to be doing 6 laps here today, 113 kilometers. One rider already off the front. I love it. This is Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028. Just like we saw in the criterium, they were very animated, won an aggressive race. And I think you want to set the tone as one of the strongest teams. This looks like Marge Ronaldo already just saying, hey, you know what? We're not going to ride around here. We are going full gas race.
That's what they're going to have to do if they want to take it to some of these big names. I think we have a pretty good idea of how this race would go if you just let it play out, right? We know those big names, the Kate Courtneys, the Lauren Stevens, the Sarkisovs, they're going to be there up at the front. So if you want to figure out how to change that script, you've got to do some big things. You're going to have to take some gambles today.
Yeah, and Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028 also has an Olympian on their team, Olivia Cummins, who was second in the criterium just a couple of nights ago, Ella Sabo was leading her out. Unfortunately, Kendall Ryan got the best of them. Also, you'll have Ella Sabo here. Again, Ella, former U23 national champion, and came up a little short in her race. So I think they're definitely going to be gearing for a result, as they should. They're such a strong team, and they're known nationally. They go to every single race: Redlands, Tour of the Gila, Tour de Bloom, Valley of the Sun. So, yeah, look at this. I mean, just full-on aggression from the beginning.
Not only do they go to those races, they perform consistently at those races. It's pretty amazing the consistency at which this team is able to operate at the highest level. It looks like they're ready to do that again here at the National Championships as they send 2 up the road. They're going to have 2 with them, and just like that, we got our first split of the day.
This team is led by none other than Shelly Olds, another Olympian. I love how much our women come back and help out in some capacity once they've been an athlete and knows what it takes to then give back and be in the team car and talk to these ladies and tell them what they need. We also have Megan Garnier also tagging the back of this group, wanting to get out, strike out early, just kind of test herself and test her legs. This team's run, Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028 is run by Nicola Kramer. This team has been around for a long time. I was actually on the team in 2016, and bless them, they just gifted me a tube. I was riding my bike yesterday, and you know, once a team member, always a team member.
Okay.
They were very nice to graciously let me borrow a tube. I did return it. I didn't need it, but you know, once an athlete, always athlete, Brad. Sorry.
That's right.
Always in need.
Love the camaraderie.
Thank you, ladies.
Good look at the back of the group here. 60 starters on the start list today. Might have had a few that decided to sit it out last minute. We'll use 60 as a nice round number on the start list here.
Beautiful shot of the Capitol building that we will pass many times today.
The Golden Dome.
Beautiful out there. The clouds are kind of still sitting in these valleys right now. It's
yeah, you can still see some moisture on the road kind of pooling up from the rain that came down last night. So it's pretty humid out there. I would call it sticky early on here. The good news is the clouds are kind of blocking the sun a little bit, so it's not that bright sun that's immediately evaporating this water, but it is starting to clear up. And again, we're not expecting any more rain today, but as you can see, it's just moving out of the valley right now.
higher dose cycling to the right of your screen, left of the peloton. Team Winston-Salem also represented in this bunch. Kind of a hometown, home area race for them.
Also going to see a bunch of light blue jerseys of United Cycling out there as well. They're another big squad that brought the numbers with 7 on their roster here.
All right, good. More the merrier. And I think it's important to show up for these races. And, you know, again, Nationals is anybody's day and anybody's race to win. And I love teams supporting that and showing up. And, you know, this is a very hard course, and we will talk about the Bridge Street Climb. We'll talk about Wirtz. Those are 2 significant places on the course that every break is good. Every attack is going to happen there. And talking to Caroline Resin just yesterday of St. Michel team, someone from the United States and racing over in Europe full time, she said you have to respect the city laps. So, you know, having to be present the entire day. If you want to be successful at Nationals, it's a one-day race. There's no starting over. There's no maybe tomorrow.
Yep. So this will be the first time up Wertz Avenue. They are doing 2 shorter laps followed by 4 longer laps. So this is the course that the juniors and U23s did that goes straight upwards. After they do this twice, they will then add the bridge road climb, which is a second climb that happens on the other side of the river, adding to this course.
Yeah, Tarun speed block again. Also saying, you know what, I want to go ahead and set tempo fast. Competitive edge, sitting second wheel, Aubrey Drummond. Paige Onweller, someone else that we will talk about today, sitting third wheel of that Trek Driftless team in that purplish top.
And pretty clear that they're going to hit this one early and going to be getting the party started out on Wertz. So we're going to keep an eye on things out there. We'll take a quick break here from the climb on the way up. And when we come back, we'll have more live coverage of your 2026 USA Cycling Road National Championships.
Fueled by passion and strengthened by determination. It's a symbol of the relentless pursuit of excellence. That's Jack Mason. Be your best.
Strain through the line, through the ground, not for the finish, not for the crowd, only the body, the line. And now you finally enter what you found in the now.
I see that last year you earned millions on the PGA Tour. You should consider investing in mutual funds too.
I'd rather go with direct indexing. What about my tax strategy?
It's a question for an accountant.
He doesn't need one. Range does taxes and investing all in one place.
It's an AI wealth manager in my pocket. Gives me the right read every time.
Win. Slow you down. Rules. You're here to push limits, break records,
Well, I cracked.
and own every inch of your journey. US Performance Academy was born to fuel that fire. An online school that aligns with your ambition, respects your grind, balances your dedication to athletics and academics. This is where you learn what you're truly capable of. Let's go. Performance Academy, official academic partner of USA Cycling. GoUSPA.org.
Welcome back. Start line of your USA Cycling Elite Women's Road Race National Championships, where they have just left the start line about 10 minutes ago. Riders on their opening 2 laps of our junior course before they move on to the bigger laps to do 4 of those today. Pretty unique setup with some changes in the course. Keeps things interesting, keeps the riders on their toes, Laura.
Well, and also just kind of a bit, I don't want to say a warm-up, but, you know, just get you a sense of let everyone participate in this race as long as possible, because as we've seen already in the previous races over the last couple of days, this is a race of attrition, and it can happen immediately. So having the speed block Tarun attack right here on Wertz the very first lap, followed by a competitive edge, and, you know, just wanting to, like, have these athletes have a chance and let their teams fly their flags.
Already seeing some riders suffering at the back here, to be expected. This is going to whittle this group down pretty much all day today. Every single time up and over Wertz, there's going to be a few less riders in the group.
Poor Emmy Gilbert out of Tucson, Arizona, already feeling the effect. Man, she had such a firecracker night on Thursday night. Just phenomenal right out the gate for her in Thursday's crit. So aggressive race on Thursday can lend to a pretty tough race on Sunday. Also higher dose, unfortunately, back here. Team Winston-Salem back here. Aubrey Drummond, competitive edge. Yeah, this is, hey, man, this is nationals, and this is we're not taking anybody around for fun.
Yeah, this is also not a course where you can kind of hide. You can't really survive. Like, you have to be a pure climber. You've got to be a pure road racer in order to make this front group here. And there's your first selection already as they've gone up and over.
Love it. And again, we're talking about the beautiful clouds just kind of setting the tone here. Just ominous tone this morning already, Brad.
So it looks like these stragglers going to link up into a chase group. Now, this one could still come back together. There's a pretty good amount of riding between here and the next climb. So depending on how they ride things up front and whether or not this group gets together, at this point, they're still within striking distance.
Yeah, don't panic, huh? You know, but you got to quickly get back on the gas as soon as possible, push across the top, and make connection with the front group as soon as you can.
Unfortunately for them, it does not look like the front group is going to be riding too easily here. As we see Natalie Quinn tacked onto the back. We'll try and get an inventory of this front group, although it might be worthwhile to wait a couple laps, at least a couple times upwards here. Lauren, talk to me about the psychology of this split right here from both sides. If you're on the right side, and then if you're on the wrong side of the split.
Yeah. So if you're on the wrong side of it, don't panic. You know, you can't really see around the corners, but I can imagine that once you get back on the flats, it's high speed from here all the way back to town. And I think once you get back to the flats, everyone will kind of sit up and, all right, we've gotten our first effort under our legs and our lungs. And if you're on the front, you don't even know that there's a split back there. You're just riding your bike and racing your bike forward. You're not worried about what's happening behind you. You're always worried about what's happening in front of you. Those are the two different dynamics, mental dynamics happening right now.
You can see this group already getting bigger. A few riders able to make it back up and on.
And realistically, there are plenty of these women here that know they're just hanging on as long as they can to enjoy the day and get the experience of the day. Yeah.
Certainly a lot to be learned in this group with the talent assembled at the national championships. Could probably learn a thing or two from watching Laura Stevens or Kate Courtney, two of the best at what they do.
Right. You know, you want to stick to their wheel as much as possible, but guess what? So does everybody else.
See Virginia's Blue Ridge with at least 2 jerseys up here. I think they might have couple more back there. It's another good reason to be aggressive early on, right? Ride the front just to keep yourself on the right side of that split.
Yeah, you're going to have the likes of the Ella Sabos and the Emily Ulrichs up at the front of this race. A bit more climbing ability than, say, your Anna Hicks, who's been focusing on the track, or Olivia Cummins also focusing on the track. Emmy Gilbert, a newer rider, just trying to get that experience here at national championships, knowing this is the elevated level that you have to be at to be successful. And when you taste that firsthand, then you know how to go back to the hometown, go back to training and say, this is how much harder I need to be training to be that good.
Group on the wide open descent on the way down right now. A few riders working their way back up. This is what we talked about. This is why you never give up, never throw that towel in, because riders like this can make their way back. I think this is Emma Lang here for Team Winston-Salem Flo.
Easily going 50 miles an hour back into town. Easily.
There's the Golden Dome we saw on the way out, the state capitol, as they work their way back into town. Now, again, this is completing the first of 2 of the smaller laps, so they will go out and do the exact same circuit that they just did, and then the third time they come back through the line, they head over what's called the Bridge Road Climb, which is an additional climb that will be added into the circuit before they get to the Wirtz Road Climb that we just saw.
2 completely different climbs, Brad. I'm sure, you know, we'll talk about them more once they come up, but Bridge street climb is more of an American road climb. It's nice and wide, flowy. It's a climb, let me tell you. There's nothing to joke about or laugh about it, but and it just continues across the top of that circuit up there. It's brutal. I've ridden this course now a couple of years and rode it yesterday, and then Wirtz, on the other hand, is more tight, narrow, and tricky. You have to be in good position. So 2 different climbs within the race course, 2 different dynamics of how to strategically place yourself.
This looks like a group coming back and headed up to the front.
Yeah, I think that was the drop group, and that's what I'm saying is, like, you just gotta stick with it. There's Aubrey Drummond right there at the back, and so yes, this group has made it back. I saw Emmy Gilbert of Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028, and yeah, if she knows she's going to be out the back of this race for the rest of the day, then that's exactly what you do. If you catch back on, you go right back to the front, let your teammates know that you're back, and then do your work, or be right back in good position to cover anything on these laps and give to your teammates of what you can when you can.
Well, that was certainly a wake-up call for a lot of riders in this group.
You're talking about being an early morning.
Yeah.
You better be awake now.
And we'll see how many of them are able to adjust their strategy up and over Wirtz this time. Maybe things going a little faster than they expected. Here comes Stephanie Young for Project Chaos back in. And that's a good feeling when you finally get back there.
Yes, it is.
Go a little further down the start list here. We talked about some of the pre-race favorites a little bit, some of the big names. Let's talk about some of the medium names, I guess, on this list. The riders that maybe aren't the odds-on favorite, but have the ability to win a national championship. I would put a name like Alexis Magner on that list. Solo rider, no teammates, but we know she's strong. If she gets the right conditions and the right scenario, she could win a national championship here.
Yes, she could, and she's one of the most experienced riders in this peloton. She's also one of the smartest and savvy riders riding for that EF Education Oatly team. It's an all-pink kit. I would also put Caroline Rezin in there, a St. Michel team out of France. This is her first year over in Europe. And Brad, she's raced every big race. You want to talk about like Paris-Roubaix?
Yeah.
You know, no big deal. You know, those are some of the biggest races in the world. And to finish that race, first of all, and then to come out here, you know, she is really excited about her chances. I think she would, like you said, she's probably a bit more of an underdog.
There's our Jack Mason lead car. It'll be leading the riders all the way around the race all weekend here in Charleston as our official timing partner of the USA Cycling National Championships, keeping us on track here and letting everyone out on course know what's going on.
Hey, you know in the Tour when they have all those cars and they have those things on top of the car and they basically throw out the goodies? Are they throwing out watches?
I'm not sure, but if they are, I'm gonna be out there next time they come by.
I walked by the booth and met Peter yesterday, one of the co-owners of Jack Mason. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. Beautiful watches. And, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand with if you tinker with bikes and you like really nice bikes, those watches are just gorgeous.
Well, someone in this field going to have one coming their way. Winners of each of these races will take home a new Jack Mason watch today. Virginia's Blue Ridge on the attack as they come back into downtown Charleston. I'm liking this riding from VBR today.
Yeah, you know, I think they would like to set up for themselves to try and push up the road a bit and take a couple of riders with them, give themselves every opportunity to be up the road once they get up and over Bridge Street climb, Wirtz climb, because you know they don't necessarily have a very strong or outright favorite climber in this peloton.
And even that move caught some riders off guard here. Coming back together at the front. But that certainly makes you nervous.
Yeah, you know, the saying is be at the front, you know, and everybody can't be at the front. And this, unfortunately, is what happens when you're not. It's just that whiplash effect. Aubrey Drummond back to the front of the race. We did see her off the back, and I like that she's just back up here, covering the moves. The best place to take care of yourself is to be near the front. We saw Kate Courtney of that Red Bull helmet. We have CCB to the right of your screen. Another really strong team here with 4.
Kate Courtney exactly where she wants to be. Survived lap 1 at the front, looking good. I'd say things are going pretty well.
Virginia's Blue Ridge going again. They've got the numbers.
Yeah, you're going to see a bunch of this today. Pretty clear that they've got a plan, and they are firing on all cylinders and executing that plan today as Virginia's Blue Ridge and Competitive Edge go on the attack here.
Eventually, like we've seen a lot in the criterium, you'll get up the road with the right mix of people. It hasn't happened yet. Aegis, Leaders of Enchantment, has missed this break, and they're the ones on the front of the peloton. I did see a flick of the elbow, meaning, hey, does anybody else want to pull through? Higher Dose is sitting second wheel. There wasn't a pull through. It's still early in the race. We're 22 minutes in, 61 miles to go. So a lot of racing to go, but I do love the aggression. Emmy Gilbert here, Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028. And even M right there giving a little flick, trying to get Aubrey Drummond to pull through, but that's not going to happen. All strung out.
Drummond doing exactly what she needs to do right here. This is how you keep a team like Virginia's Blue Ridge contained.
Yeah, Aubrey is here by herself. She doesn't have any other teammates, so she's just trying to represent as best she can for as long as she can. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. She does have teammates. My apologies. She has 5 riders here.
The aggression makes sense. Competitive Edge also starts Mia Asseltine, Galen Ballard, Ashley Fry, and Kaya Musgrave on that squad. Fog starting to burn off a little bit on the river. Did you have a preference for a start time during your career? Did you like the morning starts, afternoon starts? What was your preferred start time?
That's a great question. I would prefer to start in the morning. You know, when the crit is at night, I don't know if you were around town that day, and it was raining that morning. We had major thunderstorms and tornado warnings here. So
yeah,
typically what you would like to do as a rider, you want to get out. I mean, you're an athlete. You've got this desire to move. You've got a rhythm that you usually have throughout your training. You've got your breakfast, you go for a ride, you come back, you get a massage, whatever it is. And they couldn't do that on Thursday morning. So they're just walking around town at the bookstore, having a cup of coffee, waiting for the storms to blow by, and everybody finally got out in the little break of window that they had in the afternoon. Definitely want to race in the morning if I had my choices.
All right, group all back together. The attacks continue to fly along the river. We will monitor this one and bring you these pictures when we come back from this quick break from the National Championships.
Fueled by passion and strengthened by determination. It's a symbol of the relentless pursuit of excellence. That's Jack Mason. Be your best.
to the ground. Not for the finished, not for the crowd. Only the body, the line. And now you finally enter what you found in the now.
I see that last year you earned millions on the PGA Tour. You should consider investing in mutual funds too.
I'd rather go with direct indexing. What about my tax strategy?
It's a question for an accountant.
He doesn't need one. Range does taxes and investing all in one place.
It's an AI wealth manager in my pocket. Gives me the right read every time.
Traditional schools weren't built for athletes like you. They box you in, slow you down, dull your dreams. But you don't play by someone else's rules. You're here to push limits, break records,
Well, I cracked.
and own every inch of your journey. US Performance Academy was born to fuel that fire. An online school that aligns with your ambition, respects your grind, balances your dedication to athletics and academics. This is where you learn what you're truly capable of. Let's go. US Performance Academy, official academic partner of USA Cycling. GoUSPA.org.
Welcome back. Looking at the front of your race where Olivia Cummins has escaped with Elizabeth Dixon off the front. They left on Canal Boulevard, and looks like they're going to try and link up here for a little bit.
I like Elizabeth Dixon up the road as well. I mean, again, someone that has so much strength and kind of more of an unknown rider. She basically soloed in the crit a couple of years ago and almost won the race. It was just a phenomenal finish. Yeah, really strong riders here. Again, setting the tones early, being aggressive, coming into works. I love seeing it.
These are the kind of riders and the kind of rides that catch people off guard and win national championships. If they give these riders too much space, this is absolutely a duo that could work together and maybe stay away today, make some history. Definitely cooperating, taking turns for sure on the way up here. Gap's not huge on race radio yet, but keep an eye on things.
Yeah, you definitely want to work together, establish a gap. You're looking for a 1 minute gap. I don't think they're going to get it. Just attrition rate, just the nerves of the first couple of laps. I just feel like it's too soon in the day.
So this will be their last time up Wirtz on the short circuit before we move over to the longer circuits coming up after this, which will add the Bridge Street climb. After they leave downtown, they head along the river, and then as soon as they go over the bridge, Lauren, you can already see it going up here. This you described as kind of a more wide open climb than the Wirtz Road climb that they were just on.
I did. It is a longer climb. There's also a space up there that has a bailout. It's called Quitter's Corner. I actually took a picture of it, put it on Strava. You can cut the course if you are having a really, really bad day. But yeah, and then you bomb down back into town, and you come back through all the way down the river, and then you repeat Wirtz climb. Again, that tighter, more European, hard to see around the corners climb.
And then the descent to off of Wirtz. This is another wide open section. Wirtz is very tight, very narrow, a lot of sharp turns. The descent is more of like a boulevard. It's like 4 or 5 lanes wide. The pavement is really nice. So the descent on the way down is pretty smooth. And then they have this closing circuit into downtown Charleston. That will play a factor if a group comes down, just like we saw last year. That group of 3, they had to play some criterium sprinting skills in order to win the Road National Championships.
They sure did. And I also noticed walking from the hotel, when you're coming into that finish line, it's over a 250-meter sprint from the corner, and it's a bit of a cross headwind off of the river. So again, we saw that 3-up sprint from the women last year, and you have to know how to play against that wind. Even, you know, at the end of the race and just 250 meters, it'll make a difference.
Looks like that group has already come back off the front. Just trying to sag things a little bit. This group actually staying remarkably close together this second time upwards. Now the real damage starts. Olivia Cummins going OTB.
Right off the front, off the back, unfortunately.
There goes Ronaldo. Hayes, Brenham, and there's some good riders coming off the back of this.
Again, I'm talking, this is a little bit of a tighter road here. Again, they veer to the right here. It pitches up. Team parking is down here to the left. It's really tight right in this section, and again, you can't really see around the corners. This is why I call it kind of a European more type of road. And then you'll see on bridge, right, it's a 2-lane marked road with a shoulder. So the differences are quite stark. Then the worst part is right when you turn left at the very top of the hill, it kicks even more. There is a feed zone right there, one feed zone right there. There's also a feed zone down by the river. You know, when they open up feeding, that'll be an important part of the course for someone like Paige Onwiller, who doesn't have a follow car today.
How tough is this race without a car? I mean, are there enough feed zones on the course? I would assume mechanicals are your biggest concern without a car.
Yeah, I mean, it is all of it's a concern. It's a one-day race, and you just kind of, and you know, Paige is really great. She just has this good mindset of, you know, I'm just here to see what I can do, and you know, just no expectations on the day. But yeah, you know, if you don't catch a feed here, which you should be able to at these speeds, there is another one at, you know, but yeah, like you said, like not having a car and not having someone in your ear, and it's just you and your thoughts, it can get a little lonely out there.
See some ice socks on offer. Might be a little early in the day for those, but you do see the sun starting to poke through some of the trees up there. That will heat things up rapidly. We're at about mid-70s right now. Forecasted highs mid to high 80s, so we still got another 10 or so degrees Fahrenheit to go here.
Again, drop group, I still wouldn't panic because those that are dropped have been the most aggressive on the day, right? Nobody else has really put in any other attacks besides Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028. Those are some of the riders off the back. I still fully expect them to catch back on again once we bomb down this descent and hit back into the city laps.
This group looking pretty calm up at the front right now.
Again, because you had Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028 pushing the pace even here last lap. So why would anyone else do that? Who else is going to take that lead? Aegis, Leaders of Enchantment, have been very successful this spring in all of the stage races. So is it going to be them? And point in case, here's Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028 back to the front. Aaliyah Shafi, another solo rider that we haven't talked about and has a ton of potential here today in that map kind of purple kit, gray kits, and second wheel.
very relaxed at the back of this group. You see Anna Dorovsky for Project Chaos, one of my favorite team names out there.
Speed block Tarun towards the back, and they have a really great climber here today, Kira Payer. See if she can't put together a good race. She's so strong in training and Strava hunting. She just hasn't really put together a great race. I know she can. She's definitely got the ability. Her race director is going to be Daphne Karaganis in the team car for her. So, you know, again, the importance of having a radio is having someone in your ear to say, you know what, you've got this. Give her all the confidence and all the markers that she needs to be successful in the day, and then let her do it.
Well, as we've learned before, a nationals campaign is not about one factor or two factors or three factors. It is a sum of many different parts that all must come together perfectly in order for the machine to function. Big speeds on the way down here. Here's that pavement we were talking about. Ryder's able to tuck in.
Beautiful.
This is the kind of road that makes you want to be on the other side of this screen right now. That's for sure. Now, on the way up, I'm happy to be sitting in this chair.
Yes, me too, man. Hey, look, yesterday again, I was coming into Wirtz, and here comes Paige Onweller and Caroline Resin, and then freaking Kate Courtney just blew past me doing efforts. So I was like, oh, well, I'll ride with these two. And speak of the devil, this is Paige Onweller right here. She was just, they're just riding up the climb, and just, oh my God, my heart rate went straight up, and they were just having a cruisy day. Also, I was following Paige on the descent, and she's a bigger girl, right? And so she can just carry so much more speed easily.
Well, it looks like she's going to use this power along Canal Boulevard on the way back here as Onweller leaves the group.
That's the biggest split we've seen yet.
Not waiting around for anyone either. Happy to do it alone.
Paige was already successful this week here, trying her hand at the time trial, and was third place. Had a great result. Brand new to the sport or the discipline of time trialing. She actually had to purchase her own chain ring, you know, just out here on the course, and it's like, you know what, I need more. And was like, you know what, I'll just buy it myself. I'll take care of this. Stock handlebars, like, you know, so has a ton of opportunity to increase her positioning and ability, I would say, for time trialing, and, you know, now trying her hand at the road race.
This is a big problem for this field. If Paige Onweller gets a look at a course like this, this is right in her, you know, sort of zone of confidence. At 55 miles to go, this is an easy gravel race for Paige Onweller right now.
Yeah, just finished Unbound a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, Unbound's 200 miles. She was fourth at Unbound. So, yeah, you come into today and you're like, oh, this is only, you know, you got 54 miles to go. We're almost done. This is a dangerous move. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Now, she will struggle on the climbs headed to Bridge and Wirtz over and over again. But she, again, she has so much strength and so much ability. Who's going to be the one?
Yeah. And again, if you're not doing your research and you're not up with what Paige Onweller has been doing this year, this is the kind of rider that if you're a pure roadie, you say, Paige who? And let her go. But that would be ill-advised to let a rider like this go. She can absolutely do this solo today.
I love the crossover of multi-disciplines in all of this peloton. You have Kate Courtney, mountain bike world champion. She's raced gravel. She won Leadville last year, set the new course record. Now she's trying her hand at road racing, has already won a stage of Tour de Feminine this year, here at National Championships. Then you've got Lauren Stevens from the road over to gravel, has been successful at gravel. She's won gravel national championships multiple times. You got track racers. You've got Olivia Cummins, who's Olympian on the velodrome in track racing, out here in road racing. So I just love that strength. If you can, no matter what, you can ride your bike. You can ride any of these bikes.
We had a chance to chat with Paige as she was picking up her number yesterday, getting ready for it, learning about some of the intricacies of road racing.
Yeah, I mean, this was a last-minute decision, kind of come here. I thought it'd be a fun change of pace. Still kind of recovering from a 10.5-hour race at Unbound, so doing a TT was a bit of a shock to the body. I think my legs were a little confused for a minute, doing a 40-minute effort, but yeah, it was a lot of fun and just totally new experience. I was joking with you earlier that I heard whistles and I sat up in the bike because I was confused and didn't realize, see officials blocking the intersection. So yeah, totally different experience. I'm really enjoying it. It's nice having the roads closed and just racing with different people. I really like the road course, so I'm super excited to race here tomorrow and kind of see what I can do and just race against different people. Yeah, I'm just going to race my race. I mean, obviously I know kind of who the threats, could be and what their moves will probably be on this course. But yeah, for me, I just go into each race focusing on myself and what I want to accomplish. I mean, there's just so much that you can't really control. And on this course, I think there's a lot of different ways to get the job done. And so just be ready for any and all scenarios. And also just know that in road, there are teams. So chasing back, people can sacrifice other riders. But I do believe this course is attritional, more so, and that favors a gravel rider like myself. And making the race hard from the beginning will be advantageous for me. So hopefully there's people that want to do that. But yeah, we'll see. I think obviously being aware of who those other stronger riders are, positioning, and just keeping an eye on things. But for the most part, just going to focus on myself.
So apparently you also have to learn how to race on fully closed roads. Another one of the
what a gift
new things for Onweller here.
Now, we were meant to have a couple of other gravel racers come over. Lauren Dickersenzo was on the start list, also Cecily Decker. They are not here, unfortunately. We haven't seen them at all today. And again, Lauren coming from a road background, gone into gravel, and Cecily Decker as well. Just some really strong women. So, hey, man, this is a call. Gravel ladies, come on out, try your hand.
Still decent sized group. Very similar look at the front of this field to the first lap that we saw him back through the line. I see Kate Courtney surfing around about 5th spot right now.
Aegis Leaders of Enchantment are taking over the responsibility of managing the gap to Paige Onweller.
See her using that bridge to look back over, get a look at it.
Here we go. This will be our first time up and over Bridge Street climb, leaning into it. And when you start on the bridge like this isn't easy either.
And how about the hospitality that Charleston has rolled out? They signed the bridge for us. How cool is that?
I love that.
It's got to be one of the coolest arches we've ridden under in a while.
Thanks so much, Charleston.
So they'll come back over this bridge. Meanwhile, Onweller has already started the Bridge Street climb. So first time up this climb today. Not the first time she's seen it. We know Onweller pre-rode this course. So she got a look at this climb.
Again, something else that Paige is going to get in the road race that she doesn't get in gravel. She's going to get a time gap at some point.
I was just going to ask how much time board information she would have gotten
I don't know that she's probably gotten anything yet. They haven't maybe not had a chance to do a marker, but I would think, you know, sooner than later they would. You see her looking back again, talking about not having a race radio.
Now eventually, you'll see our Jack Mason time board up there to give her a split, but I don't know that there's much of a split to really describe right now. It's probably 10 or 15 seconds, something like that. We'll see once we go over the top. Here is your chase group. As Aegis Leaders of Enchantment once again take over that responsibility.
This is Grace Arlinson on the front. Aaliyah Shafi right over her left shoulder. Kate Courtney in the blue Red Bull helmet, sitting third wheel. Tarun speed block, that's gonna be Kiera Payer in the pink kit. Lauren Stevens, Aegis Leaders of Enchantment, kind of rocking back and forth of her pedaling style.
See Alexis Magner in there as well. Pink jersey just behind this speed block pink jersey. Gonna be pink jersey, pink helmet for Magner back there. So this selection being forced pretty quickly here. Those are sort of this is a good look at most of our favorites remaining in this group. The big question is going to be if any of them didn't make this selection. So we'll continue taking inventory here and see if any of our big pre-race favorites are absent from this group.
Might be Jamie Chapman actually right there on the front for Aegis. You'll notice they have a different type of radio than your typical in your pocket and a little clip on your bib shorts to talk to. They have kind of like an open mic system just on their helmet, and you'll see it just off a little bit. It sticks out a little bit of their helmet strap. This is the only reprieve here off of the climb. They have a small descent, bends to the left, and then it kicks back up again before they drop in the technical descent back into town.
We'll have a nice party going up there later today. I know that gets pretty popular up at the top of Bridge. I want to give a shout out to all of our volunteers and course marshals along the course. You see a bunch of people in those pink shirts along the way. Those are all volunteers from Charleston or around the area that have come together to help out at the event. So big thank you to all of our pink shirt volunteers out there.
When we landed Wednesday night on the jet bridge, the lady had on a USA Cycling hat, and it was welcoming us off the plane.
Nice.
I loved it.
Nice.
Even the baggage carousel guys were, you know, is this a bike? Yeah, you guys are here for the bike race. Yeah. The whole city welcomes us. It's very, very nice.
Back up to Paige Onweller, hitting it hard on the way up here. Out of the saddle. Trying to put as much time into this as she can right now. Race Radio reporting that gap at 20 seconds right now for Onweller. So, Lauren, if you put in this much time, how are you feeling about this gap? I feel like, is this an appropriate amount of time to have after this much time away?
Yeah, I think so. She's getting her first time gap right there with the whiteboard. And yeah, I would expect that. I would expect that gap to have closed on the climb, because these women that we were expecting to see out of this peloton, the stronger women, just off of sheer force and desire of wanting to be up the climb at their pace, that's going to draw that gap a little bit closer. See if it doesn't swell back out once she gets back into town a bit.
These are going to be your chasers. Butel at the back. See Rebecca Lang moving up. And I think that's Andrea Sear, the higher dose Renova jersey up there. We're number 30. She's made the selection. That's a great ride for Andrea. Oh, Resin in a little trouble
sometimes your body just has to start a little bit slower on the day, and you can ride into the day. It's, you know, Caroline Resin was someone that I would have picked to have been at the front of this group. But again, you know, just give yourself time. You know, just because you've got a bit of a gap, don't panic. Don't think of the worst case scenario. You can ride into this race still. 51 minutes in to the day. Still a long day ahead.
And there she is, right back on.
Yeah.
It's a good way to celebrate America 250 and celebrate our national championships. Uncle Sam keeping an eye on the corner up there.
Wow, this this race is whittled down significantly within this first hour of racing.
Yeah, and at this point, I think now that we're on the big circuits, I would say this is the selection. You're probably not getting back into this group.
I would agree with that statement, Brad. I love this descent, super flowy, but it will be interesting to see. You can see the pavement is still a little bit wet, dry. I would be cautious through here my first couple of times until this road dries out. Everything to lose here.
See some parts of this course narrow down a little bit, or some parts of this climb, I should say. Interesting to see Onweller's riding style. Seems like she's spending a lot of time out of the saddle. She does these quick little efforts, kind of puts in a dig and then gets back to it.
That might be a testament of, you know, just gravel. What's the word? Yeah, just so used to, that's how her style,
yeah.
Right? God, gravel racing is so rough, and, you know, you're kind of always trying to, like, comfort your body of some sort. And she's definitely pushing forward. There's a lot of speed in this downhill.
This is probably another skill that you're not going to be able to use a lot of gravel experience on. You don't see a lot of descents like this.
Not that you can really lean the bike over, right? Because you'd slide out otherwise. And to have the full road. Most gravel roads and races, it's kind of an open course policy.
Yeah.
And you kind of see her hesitating a little bit around those corners, but yeah, that's just habit. Coming off the descent right here, back on bridge, across the bridge.
And right back to work.
Still looking over her shoulder. Not trusting that time gap too terribly much.
As they go over the bridge, race radio confirming 30-second time gap here.
Jamie Chapman, another one of our animators in years past, former rower in the Bay Area.
Looks like Paige Onweller are going to use every bit of that new front chainring that she sourced coming into Charleston.
Well, I wasn't sure if that was just for the time trial because she was carrying so much speed in the time trial. I don't know. I would assume that her road bike is pretty dialed, but that just might be me, and I might have misunderstood that. But I thought that was just for the time trial. But getting a good look at that Trek bike. Looks good on it. Good position.
She was also talking about trying to dial in that position a little bit. The road bike, a little different than a gravel bike, but pretty close.
And someone else is going to be used to these temperatures today because Paige is out of Bella Vista, Arkansas. So, you know, even more hot and humid in the south.
All right, they're along Canal Boulevard right now. Let's take one more break here from our Scott Bikes live stream. And they should be back up onto the Works Road climb here in just a little bit. We'll have more coverage on FloBikes right after this. New developments out on the road as Aegis Leaders of Enchantment's Jamie Chapman has now left the field and starting a chase effort on the way up to Paige Onweller.
Yeah, this is something that Aegis was going to have to do at some point unless they just wanted to pull the field around, and I think they had basically lost numbers going up Bridge Street that first time. So down to just a couple of riders. So Lauren Stevens sending Jamie Chapman up the road, and smart move, very strong rider. Again, Jamie 2 years ago was an animator towards the end of this race. Former rower phenom, living in San Francisco, training there. Friend of Kristen Faulkner's, as a matter of fact, and that was my first key a couple of years ago. They were having coffee together, and I said, this is somebody I probably need to keep an eye on.
Real recognize real,
exactly,
as they say.
Exactly. Probably Jamie's probably getting some cues from Kristen back then, and
sure
doesn't really need that anymore. But never hurts to have a two-time gold medalist give you some tips in the business.
Well, and you also have to think that Chapman, obviously under the direction of Lauren Stevens and Matt Stevens as well, helping out with that team, I think is a big part of a lot of the tactics and strategy, and then all those little things that make a bike racer great. I think a lot of that is, comes from Matt Stevens as kind of a director, mechanic, all around group, but there's a lot of support for a rider like this on the team. And I would argue that this is also Lauren Stevens using her teammates in just the right way here. I mean, Jamie Chapman is a great bike racer, but I think she was probably dispatched by Stevens to go do this. And this is exactly why you put people like Jamie Chapman on your national championship squad.
Yeah, 100%, Brad. And again, Jamie is a really strong rider. She can make that connection with Paige. That would be two really great athletes to have up the road. I love the bottom of this this neighborhood right here at the bottom of Wertz. They were having such a party just yesterday, the day before. They know how to have a celebration for cycling. If they don't know anything about the sport, they're definitely going to have a party no matter what. I'm also wondering if Paige has anybody in the, since she doesn't have anybody in the team car behind her or anything like that, I'm wondering if she has someone specifically in the feed zone to help her feed, or if she's just gone to volunteers, or, you know, that'll be another interesting look.
Yeah, a lot of times riders can find someone to feed them. It's an ex-teammate or maybe a director or mechanic that you worked with in the past. Onweller's not really going to have those connections at Road Nationals, right? She's not going to see a ton of her ex-teammates here. But hopefully she'll have what she needs, because clearly one of the major factors in the race today.
And basically these are two phenomenal time trialists going up the road, with Jamie just getting 5th this week. So it's a strong ride with Jamie. I like seeing it, and I like the move that Aegis is doing by sending her up the road. The idea is make that connection, make it a stronger break, put pressure on the other riders that we've been talking about today, the Kate Courtneys, the Caroline Resins, the Megan Garnier of the world. Well, it'll be interesting to see the Chase group back, to see if Megan has continued to make the split and where she is in her fitness and her new journey back to road racing. It's that's been an interesting story, and looking forward to telling that a little bit more. But right now, keying in on Jamie Chapman and moving up the road to make connection with Paige Onweller.
Onweller still away, reporting that gap at 30 seconds on race radio right now. And that's been steady 30 for a while here. We're going to check up here at the top of the climb as we await their arrival.
Quite a different racing surface for Paige coming from Unbound. I was at that race, calling that race, and Brad, they were running through 3 feet of water and mud. So quite the different surface area for her, and a lot smoother. And hey, Paige, you're not gonna have to get off your bike today, hopefully. The peloton has swelled back up, Brad. You know, when we saw them going up Bridge Street, there was a really small select group.
Yep. So this will be the Kate Courtney, Lauren Stevens, etc. group here. Doing a nice job being patient, not super worried about Paige Onweller yet.
I'd say Paige is very comfortable in this scenario, being by herself, riding her pace. You know, this is kind of gravel 101 for, you know, anybody else. That's how they race, is race forward, race hard, race solo for hours on end, Brad. So this is a comfortable spot for Paige to be in. She's not really looking behind her, and you know, no games being played here. This is just her tactic and how she races, just straight out hard, just like we saw in her interview. That's what she was going to do because that's what she prefers.
We
Aaliyah Shafi right in the middle of your screen, purple jersey, sitting right off the wheel, right off the front. Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028. Anna Hicks has made it back to the front of the group. Just kidding. So, okay, so obviously Paige has someone in the feed zone giving her a nice time gap there, saying who it is specifically. That's great information from the side of the road immediately while she's grabbing a bottle. You get the time gap and who it is.
I'm not sure if that was a planned staff member or not. That might have just been a random bit of information.
And again, riding, struggling to hold on to Paige and Carolyn yesterday up that point. That Carolyn was basically up there saying, hey, Paige, this is where the support will be. You know, so when you need to pick up your bottles or whatever, this is a key point for you. So it's nice having competitors help each other out right there and giving that information. Like Carolyn does have a team car and has the ability with a race radio. And someone like Alan Lim is in the car for her. And, you know, again, what a village to have in your back pocket. So nice of her to share that information with Paige and have that camaraderie.
This is what I was talking about. These short efforts that Onweller's doing in the drops on the way up. Puts in a big dig and then gets back in the saddle. Puts in a big dig, back in the saddle.
That just tells me she got that information from whoever that was in the feed zone, and she's not waiting up for Jamie Chapman. She is going to force Jamie to push hard to make that connection to Paige Onweller. Competitive edge, pushing the pace, wanting to bring this gap back down.
Onweller doing a good job using the whole road. I think a lot of times riders, it's so ingrained in your mind to follow the yellow line rule. Stay on the right side of the yellow line. But looks like she's starting to take these corners a little wider.
She still errs a bit to the right
little
side.
bit, yeah.
If you notice any of the left-hand bends, but you know this is her strength right here. Is going to be on the descent because she's a bigger-bodied rider. She just carries so much speed, and especially right here, just a straight-on run-in boulevard. Just massive gear.
Got to get it where you can.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, some remnants at the back. Durovsky hanging on. Going to get back into this one just fine. Gap going up to 50 seconds. This is starting to get out of hand for this field at 50 seconds. 30 seconds, not a huge concern. 50 seconds, you're a little more worried.
Calm down, Brad. There's still a lot of racing to go. We got 43 miles. We still got to go up and over bridge many, many more times.
Yeah.
No.
This is
just
exactly
joking.
what I need in my ear when I'm racing.
It's going to be okay. You know, we haven't seen any aggressive moves on bridge, and you saw the gap come down, and you saw the peloton swell once they get back down off a Bridge Street climb. So you got to use your teammates as long as you can and every last drop of them, and you want them to come back on through these city circuits and really push the pace on the city circuits. You can make up time there. You'll definitely make time on both of the climbs when it comes down to it, but yeah, we're seeing the time gap open up. You're going to lose time on the descent if you're just kind of rolling back down the hill. No one really has pressure on the pedals except for Paige Onweller and Jamie Chapman. But you still have numbers and you still have a lot of racing to go. So strategically, still comfortable time gaps.
Single file on the way down. You can see you really can tuck in if you're a smart bike racer and you really understand how to ride a group like this. You could get down this descent without having to turn a single pedal stroke.
Yeah, or potentially touch your brakes. And again, the differences of the two descents, right? We've talked about the differences of the climbs, but also the descents. This one is more open and exposed. The road is dry. There's not a whole lot of tree coverage, so you can clearly see around all the corners. And you've got these big, massive open roads, whereas coming off the Bridge Street climb, you've got that rock wall, and it kind of is a blind corner, and you look to the motos and you look to the rider in front of you to take that line as efficient as possible. So two different climbs and descents all in one day and in one circuit. Paige back on the city lap, city circuit.
We'll get another time gap when they go back through the line here. The other thing you look for now is when this gap starts going the other way, or if it starts going the other way. She has added time every single time check that we've gotten so far. I have to imagine that plays a little bit of a mental game with you the first time you get a smaller time check.
Yeah, but and also if she's getting a time check to Jamie Chapman, right? And where is Jamie in the mix? Because if it's just a chase one, so that's to Jamie, then what is it to the peloton? Or did Jamie get reabsorbed by the peloton?
This looks like our chase group, and our moto will stay with chase one, so that means that Chapman must be back into this group right here.
Alexis Magner now pulling through, showing her cars. Carolyn Resin to the front. Kate Courtney now. This is the first time we've seen her managing that gap a bit. Okay, so that's at least a minute. They're sending the car up the road. So is that a minute then to Jamie, because Paige doesn't have a car? Tess Edwards called your medical team. She's the only rider of that team, more of a crit racing squad. They were very successful. They won the national championship Thursday night with Kendall Ryan.
Onweller looking back over the shoulder here. Onweller certainly looking good. Not seeing a ton of fatigue in her body language here. I wouldn't expect any fatigue for another 41 miles out of her, though, and we only got 40 miles to race.
Can I tell another good story of the love of Charleston?
Absolutely.
Okay. Having Tess Edwards there on the front of the peloton reminds me of a story. Her team, and I'm not quite sure which one of her teammates, had a broken boa. And they were basically going around all the bike shops here in town, and they finally found one. Well, they didn't find the boa anywhere in town, because this is more of a mountain bike town. So not really road centric, so they're not really carrying those types of products in the stores. So they find a place called Wheel Billy in Hurricane, West Virginia. And they're at the store, again, at the bike shop, trying to find this boa specifically. One of the kids, that as a mechanic in the shop, goes out to his car, gets the personal boa off of his shoe, and gives it to her. And I just, like, that is the hometown hospitality that Charleston has just rolled out the red carpet here to give your personal boa to one of the athletes here in town, because, you know, he can order one and have it here within a week, right?
Sure.
She needs it ASAP. And I just, Will Billy, you know, and Will Billy. Okay, so this guy actually went and raced at one point over in Belgium, and that was his nickname from the Belgians, and that's the name of the shop. I love it. The beauty of having a car right here, Brad, this is Matt Stevens talking to Jamie Chapman.
100%.
Face to face. Sometimes you miss things on the radio. Just having that face-to-face conversation right here is super important, giving very clear and concise information.
And he's going to be giving her an updated time gap here as well. This one's going to be right around 2 minutes now. Back to Chapman. It started at 50 seconds last time we saw him, but on the line right here, you were looking at 2 minutes between Onweller and company. And that's probably going to be closer to 3 minutes back to this group. So 2 minutes to Chapman in chase one. And clock is still running on this field to get to the line.
That's why we're seeing the Kate Courtney's, Caroline Resins come to the front. That's a big gap. That's a big gap to Jamie, and that's also a big gap to Paige Onweller. So they're trying to at least manage that a bit more. It's uncomfortable, so hey, you've got Team Winston-Salem up here, you've got Competitive Edge up here, you've got Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028, you've got Aaliyah Shafi sitting third wheel right there. If you want to have any chance now at this national championship, you've got to keep that gap a lot closer. And just off the back of that group, or not off the back of the group, but just right in the back of the peloton, I just saw the black helmet of Megan Garnier. So again, I'm really curious of how her day is going to go.
She's in it. All right, so now things start to get a little more interesting. 2 minutes for Onweller back to Chapman, and then another minute 30 back to this group. So 3.5 minutes between Paige Onweller at the front of this bike race in this main group with most of the pre-race favorites in it.
Paige is putting everybody on notice, Brad.
Now can I start getting excited?
Yeah, sure. You sure can.
Certainly not because of lack of effort in this group. I mean, we saw Kate Courtney drive in the front. We've seen Virginia's Blue Ridge contributing up here. I mean, there's no shortage of riders that are willing to chase. You can obviously take Arlinson and Stevens out of that conversation. None of the Aegis riders going to be chasing Jamie Chapman up the road, but there has been plenty of effort to try to bring them back.
Now we got Kate Courtney pushing the pace a little bit more, standing out of the saddle. Alexis Magner, pink jersey, sitting second wheel. Leah Shafi just to the left, her white helmet. They're going to want to bring this back a bit, so you have to push the pace on the climbs. That's where you're going to make up your times. Lauren Stevens is just going to sit right off of those wheels. Kira Payer up there as well. Higher Dose sitting fourth wheel. This is going to shatter the field.
Yep. It's already happening. You can see it off the right-hand side of the picture there a little bit. This is a big lap. This is big names only at the front of this group right now. Kate Courtney hitting it hard here, and that is shattering this group. This one might not come back together after this. Magner is also getting up here to the front. And again, kind of my canary in the coal mine for Alexis Magner. She can read these races better than a lot of riders in this field. So if I see Magner starting to get up there, that tells me that there are some major things happening at the front. Not just because a world champion mountain biker is up there driving, but Magner will take all those factors in here.
And you still want to not go so hard to drop everybody because we still have 38 miles to go. We've got a couple of laps to go, so this is a couple more times up Bridge Street, a couple more times up Works, a couple more times through the city laps, right? And that's when you're going to need the rest of the peloton to help you and assist. You've got Paige Onweller up the road. You got Jamie Chapman sitting a minute and a half off of Paige, and then you're 2 minutes back to the peloton. You kind of want to use all of that distances, and you want to use whatever's left in the peloton to bridge those gaps as efficient as possible, and then to be fresh as possible for the Bridge Street climb and Works those last times up. So, you know, it's a strategically hard pace. Does that make sense?
For bike racers, yeah.
Kate pushing forward, splitting this group. Kira Payer sitting second wheel. Lauren Stevens sitting third wheel. Grace Arlinson for fourth wheel, her teammate. Competitive edge just hanging on the back over the top of the climb. Gapped back to none other than Megan Garnier.
Onweller responding to that, though. Matching the effort up front.
A little bit of reprieve off the climb right there. And then you pitch again. Kate looking back, seeing that she's got a major gap.
Yeah, this is a big Kate Courtney effort right here.
And I think that was probably just someone on the radio, Rachel Hederman on the radio, saying this is what we want. And she even had a head nod. I would imagine that they've got the live stream on in the car. Not driving, not for the driver, passenger. Even Lauren Stevens giving a look back.
Yeah. I definitely sense panic in this group now. I mean, they are now worried about these gaps. They are very clearly putting in an effort. I think it's twofold for Kate Courtney here. One, she just got rid of about 20 riders out of this group and forced a selection. And two, I would almost expect this time gap to be down at least a little bit next time we get a time check from Race Radio.
Aegis Leaders of Enchantment are sitting in such a good spot right now. You've got Jamie Chapman up the road. You've got Lauren Stevens with a teammate out of this break of 5 that Kate Courtney is pushing forward.
Single-handedly pushing forward.
Yeah. And at some point, once they come off of the descent, Kate should definitely be looking for the Kira pairs of this group to pull through, see if she can't get some assistance. But they pulled back a ton of time if Paige is now on the descent. Left-hand bend across the bridge. It's good to have kind of like these key markers on the climbs and as well as the descents, especially off of this descent. There's a couple of blind corners. There's Jamie Chapman now in front of Kate Courtney's group, so that tells you how aggressive they are being on the climb.
So this was a minute and a half when they went over the start-finish line between Chapman in this group right here. That one's about to come back together, though, so.
Now Lauren Stevens coming to the front, knowing that Jamie Chapman did not make contact with Paige Onweller.
Yep.
Now this puts them back on the back foot a bit. Everyone's seeing that Jamie's right up the road. You want to make contact with her. If you're Kate Courtney, you want to make contact with Jamie Chapman. You want to bring her back in the fold to then make Aegis work, knowing that it's Paige Onweller up the road, and then you've got Lauren Stevens' responsibility because she now has numbers. Immediately, just tactics can change just like that, Brad. It's so much fun.
And this is also a scenario where you need a good road captain, right? You can't call this from the car. These are decisions that you just have to inherently know as a bike racer. And Lauren Stevens will have that dialed out here. So looks like she is executing the plan to make sure that this doesn't get too far out of hand for Paige Onweller up the road.
See if also once they don't make contact with Jamie Chapman, if she doesn't try to send Grace Arlinson up the road.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised by that at all.
Ashley Fry putting in a great ride here for competitive edge.
Speed block also going to get in on pulling up at the front here. Everybody doing what they can to try to bring back Onweller up the road, but not having any major success yet in bringing back this time.
Graciously getting a time gap from one of the commissaires.
Yeah, so they're going to update this time gap to what is now 2 minutes and 40 seconds back to the chasers here. So Onweller has added 40 plus seconds. As they go back over the river here, that is going to be from this mark right here. It's 2:43.
Wow.
Great news for Paige Onweller. Terrible news for these 6 riders. They just put in some big poles and somehow lost 40 seconds in the process.
You can even hear, I'm pretty sure that's Lauren
I can
Stevens
almost
now, right?
guarantee you that's
Yep.
going to be Lauren Stevens.
So now there has to be some sort of communication within this group. And even back at the team cars, you're going to have someone like Rachel Hederman go up to Matt Stevens and, hey, let's talk about this.
Well, they're going to have to figure something out because Paige Onweller not stopping anytime soon.
Again, Paige is such a strong rider. She obviously is doing well within the Lifetime Grand Prix Gravel Series. You know, 2 years ago, she had a broken ankle going into the year, into the spring. And then this year, she's come back from concussion and, you know, was going into Sea Otter and got stung by a bee and had a reaction and couldn't race there. So, you know, she has a hard time to the starts of her years, these last 2 years, but you know, she's just knocking on the door of all these great results. And today she's busting that door wide open.
This is the chase effort, trying to figure out how they're going to deal with this problem. You see Kira Payer onto the back. Again, this group has to cooperate over the next 34 miles. They cannot be racing against each other, worrying about second and third place as first place rides away.
Kate Courtney looks as quiet as
Doesn't she?
anybody on that bike right there, on that beautiful Allied bike. She sends racing a foundation that she started to help young women get into mountain biking, get into racing their bikes, gain that confidence, be leaders in what they do. She, you know, Kate is such a good representation of all things cycling for the sport. And I love that she even puts herself in these new uncomfortable positions. You know, she transitioned from the World Cup short track racing, mountain bike racing, into the marathon distances, won world championships this past year, and now is like, you know what, I'm going to try road racing as well. Why not? And, you know, again, like, she's already been successful. She's won a stage this spring, and I like seeing her here at national championships and, you know, to see where she can go and how much she just puts that out into the social media world of, I'm trying uncomfortable things, and I would like, you know, for you to step up and try that too. It gives you so much confidence and so much leadership skills in all things in life.
All right, Onweller about to start back upwards here. Now, I think we expected Onweller to be losing time each time they went upwards, but that has not really been the case. She is maintaining or gaining time, it seems like.
Yeah, Paige, again, just is very comfortable being in an uncomfortable zone 3, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, just putting it all out there. And until she just basically falls over. She's just gonna push so far forward. You know, that's how she races. That's her style. She's a really strong athlete. And then you once you get over those climbs, she has such a good descending ability.
Gap holding at 245 to the bottom of the climb here. They are just about to start the bottom for the chasers.
So they've let the team cars come through to this chase group.
Yeah, that means this race is pretty much blown apart behind them. There is not much of a peloton to speak of out there today.
No, and it'll be interesting. Again, the conversations that need to be had within this group and with their team car. And I think that I'm surprised there's a chase group. Well, that's enough off the back. I thought I was seeing a couple of riders just off the back, but yeah. Now if you're a team director, you get eyes on who's working, how they're working, and get a sense for your athlete and just a clear communication on the radio and what you really want to talk to them about. Everyone is rolling through.
Yeah,
this is what I'm looking at in
yep.
this group, Brad. Everyone is rolling through. That means it is important to everybody. There's no games being played here. And like you said, everybody's been put on notice with Paige Onweller up the road.
Well, they can't afford to skip a pole. They need every single horsepower that they can get in this group today if they're going to conquer Paige Onweller up the road here, because she is showing no signs of slowing down. And despite the best efforts of this group, despite the best efforts of Kate Courtney and the other 5 in here, they have not been able to bring back any significant time. Race Radio just going to update this time gap. It's only down to 2:35, so she lost 10 seconds. That is the first time we've had a smaller time check, though, for Onweller. But I think some of that is probably just going to be with the climb and the difference in where you take the time, because Onweller started the climb a little earlier. So there's a 10 or 15 second margin of error with these time gaps. Nothing really for Onweller to worry about yet.
Yeah, and also for this group, you know, it's not completely like all panic, all bells and whistles just to go in. I mean, you still have the race of attrition, right? I mean, Paige is out there by herself. This group is getting a tow. They're getting a bit of a break, so.
All right, on the way up, we're going to take one more break here from the USA Cycling National Championships, and we'll be back with your Scott Bikes live stream after this.
Competing at the highest level of the sport requires the right training ground, and USA Cycling has found that in Arkansas. Bentonville is the home of the U.S. National Mountain Bike Team, but our statewide network of trails aren't just for elite athletes. We've got a ride for everyone.
Just increasingly more and more, I'm telling people, if you ride mountain bikes or if you want to get into mountain bikes, you got to come here and see for yourself. And there's something for everyone here, for sure.
Plan your next cycling adventure to the natural state at arkansas.com.
Black and hard edges, cold, exact and almost clean. Be in the now, through the strain, through the line, through the ground. Not for the finished, not for the crowd, only the body, the line. And now you finally enter what you found in the now.
Welcome back. Top of Wirtz Avenue climb as Paige Onweller goes up and over. Wirtz one more time with a 2 minute and 35-second gap over this field. Onweller is on fire today out here, Lauren. It's going to take a big effort to catch her today.
Yeah, you know, and going back right before commercial break, I feel like there's still not everyone is in full panic mode yet. We saw Kate strike out on the Bridge Street climb last lap through, but I do think that is still a conservative effort. You haven't seen full bore attacks from that group of 6, and I just think if they can collectively bring Paige back a little bit closer through this next city circuit, that will give them more advantageous opportunities to then put forth a full bore attack towards the end of this race. You're over there getting excited, Brad, but I'm still saying contain it just a little bit, right? I'm still betting that if we work together as a group of 6 with Aegis Leaders of Enchantment, you've got Competitive Edge, Ashley Fry up there. You've got Kira Payer, also Speed Block Tarun, and you've got one of the world's best in Kate Courtney. So don't just have full bore panic quite yet, but we do need to work together and stick together and bring this gap back a little bit closer before we start playing any games.
2:35, ladies.
But I do know that Paige loves to hear that time gap of 2:35, and like you were saying, it has dropped a little bit, and again, that could just be indicative of coming up over the climb, and she's kind of on this flat bit before she hits that descent. But yeah, you know, she knows that too. They know that, and this is the race. This is road racing at its best. Lauren Stevens has Grace Arlinson and Jamie Chapman up there for her, for that team. Matt Stevens in their radio. They've won Redlands overall this year. They've been successful at Tour de Bloom. They've been successful at Tour de Tequila. So a very strong team, very smart and savvy team as well.
Here come your chasers. Up and over. Again, the group of Grace Arlinson, Jamie Chapman, Lauren Stevens, Ashley Fry, Kira Payer, and Kate Courtney. Trying to work together to bring this one back, but not making a ton of progress in that quest.
We also saw just when Paige came over, she had grabbed a feed from the side of the road. She hasn't missed a feed yet, which is really important for her. These are moments that she's focusing on, because if she misses a feed, it's detrimental, right? Because she's not going to get anything from anybody else for another lap. So she is very much keying off of these feed zones. We saw her grab a feed also by the river when she came through, and how fast that feed zone is. Look at it, she just pushes forward so much, even on this descent. Very aggressive riding by Paige Onweller today.
Into the tuck on the way down with just over 30 miles of racing to go here for Onweller. Not much going to be to see behind Paige Onweller right there. You saw her take a look over the shoulder. It's going to be a while before Paige Onweller has anything to worry about at her back door.
There's one point right at the finish of the city circuit lap as you basically make a right-hand turn, left, and then you come back to the start-finish, and you can kind of look through the block and maybe get sense of, you know, how close that time gap would be. But again, she's getting the whiteboard information, and someone was in the feed zone when whoever gave her a feed is there also saying the time gap, and so she's getting the information, communication right here within this group happening as well. What she's probably not getting though is who's chasing her, the size of the chase group, you know. So the unknowns are still there. Is it one person? Is it 3? Is it 10?
It's hard to describe the dynamics of a group over the radio or on a time board. Like they're sitting back there. Are they working together? Are they chasing? Is Kate Courtney the only one doing work up there? Those are the kind of things that Onweller won't have access to. That I'm sure she would be eager to know.
And she might, when the time gap whiteboard comes up to her, it might say chase group of 6, or, and that's probably about it. You know, other than that, that's about all the information you could put on a whiteboard.
Just
with a group this size.
They just updated this time gap to 2:30, 5 seconds off of the gap. But that is still a pretty massive gap with 29 miles of racing to go. More information from the car here for Onweller. The other thing about this gap, normally I would expect it to start to drop late in the race. I don't expect that from Onweller. I don't think she's going to, you know, taper off at the end of this. She's not going to get tired and start losing time towards the end. She's absolutely got the engine to drive this all the way through. So depending on the rider, I would often kind of plan on that gap coming down late in the race. I'm not planning on that with Onweller. I don't think she fades late in this race.
I don't think she fades. I think this group gets faster and faster. They just become more efficient. They started working well together upwards the last time. And, you know, again, Lauren Stevens is probably going to put her teammates to work a bit more in force. Everyone's going to roll through. And again, like, as we get closer to the end of this race, then we'll start to see those full-bore attacks from this group, from the Lauren Stevens, from the Kate Courtney, Ashley Fry, Kira Payer, on the climb. They're going to just get significantly harder and trying to inch closer to Paige. Now, what's going to happen when they do that? They're going to drop the aegis riders. You're going to drop the workers that are working right here on the flats. So it's trying to perfectly time your attack, what do you have left, against using the worker bees of your chase group.
Chase group trying to work together. They could be a little smoother.
Yeah.
They could be a little more organized.
You read my mind. I was just looking. They're not really doing a full-on, like, through and off quick turns. It's a little slower. You kind of want more motivation, a faster turn on the front. See if this is Kate's car here. Coming up to talk to her. Grabbing an ice sock. You know, it was funny this morning, Brad, when I was talking to Kate, they were on the rollers warming up, and she looked over at her mechanic and she said, "Oh, I wish I had my ice vest."
Yep.
You know, so even this morning it wasn't that cold, but she still is just trying to control her body temperature as much as possible. This is Rachel Hederman talking to her.
One of the most experienced people in the game.
And now they're going to get their timing information.
That looks like 2:45. Which would be 15 seconds larger than their last check at 2:30. All right.
If I'm Rachel and I'm talking to Kate, you know, one, I'm asking, looking at her and saying, "Hey, Kate, how are you feeling?"
Yep.
What are you thinking? Because you want that information back from the athlete, and you can look at them and get a visual of how they're feeling and the confidence in their face or lack of confidence in their face. And then two, hey, Kate, let's try and keep this group, try and keep them motivated as much as possible. And when you're ready and when you're ready to strike out, you know, that's your time to hit it. And when you hit it, you got to be fully committed. 27 miles to go. Hour 51 of racing so far. And again, Kate is a current marathon mountain bike world champion. So she knows how to suffer the long, hard distances solo. If you watched her at the end of that race when she won that world championship jersey, she actually had a slow leak in her rear tire, and she was mentally just nursing it along. It was like also mentally just trying to figure out, do I change it or plug this tire and fill it, or change the, you know, put a tube in it or not? And she's playing those mental games, so she's also mentally tough. Like physically, she's just another level, but also mentally really tough and in control. Ashley Fry, competitive edge, is having a heck of a race today. Good to see her up there and rolling through with this group.
Yeah, no matter what happens today, Ashley Fry can walk away from this one happy with this ride. This is a great day, really, for anyone who made the selection, but the pressure is a little different for someone like Kate Courtney versus and Ashley Fry in this scenario. So big ups to her making the selection here with some of the best in the country.
Ashley was second in the mountains classification at Tour de Gila and also in GC at Gila. So, you know, she was second in Mogollon, and so she can definitely climb and stick with this group. She definitely has the attrition.
Yeah, Fry almost needs a longer climb. She almost needs a longer, harder, more European style climb here than kind of the short, punchy effort that this course has.
Well, then I would say that she needs to make her mark right here on bridge climb, as we're seeing Paige right now just starting her effort on the climb. But, you know, Ashley needs to start from the bottom and take it all the way basically to the top. You know, we have that little bit of reprieve right in the middle of it, and they climb again before they descend all the way back in town. So if Ashley is trying to use her best ability, I'm going to say that, yeah, going from the base of bridge is her best bet. And you can kind of look at her right now sitting second wheel off Kira Payer, pulling through. She has a bit of a sway to her shoulders and her head, so I don't know if that's necessarily her riding style or the fatigue of the day starting to set in. We're almost 2 hours into this race. Lauren Stevens now rolling through.
And that was a live time gap that you saw the Jack Mason clock on the line at almost exactly 2:40 over the line. So this has not changed by a second since our last time gap. They gave them that 2:40 time check about 10 minutes ago, and they just came back across the line at exactly 2:40 again.
Left-hand turn here, right hand onto the bridge to Bridge Street climb.
Onweiler head down now. Starting to shift a little bit. You see her shoulders and elbows flexing just a bit.
Yeah, she's still rocking that 2.5 minute, 2:40 minute gap. Her strength has, I'd really say, I mean, she's strong on the uphill as well, but definitely, like, she has so much power and speed on the descents as well. So what she loses on the uphill, she almost gains back on the downhill. Just usually the other way around.
So now Chasers starting the Bridge Street climb that Onweiler is about to crest here. Uh-oh.
Lauren Stevens putting in an attack, dropping Jamie Chapman now, so her work is essentially done. Again, this is what we're talking about of like, when do you stop using your teammates and have to really push forward, knowing that that gap is 240.
This is it. Major turning point in this race as Lauren Stevens and Kate Courtney go to the front of the group. Stevens drops both of her teammates, and now looks like Kira Pay are going to be the last rider in contact here as Arlinson loses contact. Fry trying to get back in there, and Chapman a little further back behind Ashley Fry here.
Grace has to fight for this. She really wants to make that. You need to make that contact back with Lauren if you can. Lauren made more of an attack, and Grace is more just setting her own pace to try and come back nice and slow to that group. Don't know that she's going to make it.
Race radio crackling to life here. Oh, they're going to report a smaller gap here. They're saying this one is down to 220 now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like that's that move from Lauren Stevens, right? Like that full-on effort versus just trying to set a faster tempo. Will it be enough though, Brad? Will it be enough on these last couple of climbs to bring back Paige on Willer? I don't know.
Lauren Stevens got to be feeling a little deja vu here. She found herself in a very similar scenario with two other riders into the last couple laps. The difference is that this year they've got one rider up the road at what is now 220 away.
And the interesting thing is Kate Courtney and Lauren Stevens haven't raced against each other yet. Kira Payer, on the other hand, has raced against Lauren Stevens, but this will be new territory for the two of these really strong women at the front of this group. The unknowns.
This is so sick, watching America's best women in this group. Kate Courtney, Lauren Stevens trying to chase down Paige Onweller. Kira Payer could be a big factor in this one, too, today. She's going to be the wild card here, obviously, but that could be to her advantage today in what is now a group of three. Gap coming down again. Race radio going to update this one to 2 minutes now. I see why you told me not to get too excited now, Laura.
I don't know. I mean, because now you've got three. Now, and this is what's going to happen is we saw Lauren put in an attack. Kate matched, countered, pushed, and Kira will probably pull through. But again, like will they all start to continue to work together? Kate throwing an elbow, Kira pulling through. They're going to make the time up on the climb, but I think they're also going to lose a bit on the descent. Three smaller riders, right? But I mean, Paige is such a big rider, and just yeah, I don't know. Now the unknown. Now I'm in unknown territory. You know, a couple laps ago, I was like, oh, we got Paige, it's fine. But now we're in unknown territory.
I think I'm starting to realize what I thought was a chase effort was about a 50% effort from this group, because Lauren Stevens, Kate Courtney, Kira Payer, they clearly had more in the gas tank, which they have now shown on the way up Bridge Road. We have not seen an effort like this from these riders yet. And that's why that gap wasn't coming down. They just weren't racing full gas yet.
Right. But now they kind of have to. And then again, now you've reshuffled to just the three of you, and the understanding of the three of us now have to work really strong together and efficiently together, knowing that you're going to attack each other at some point on one of the climbs. Which one is it going to be? But again, this goes back to your director in the team car. You've got Daphne Karaganis in the team car for Speed Block Tarun. You've got Matt Stevens in the car for Aegis Leaders of Enchantment. And you've got Rachel Hederman in the car for Kate Courtney. The three of them have to be having some sort of conversation back there of, look, can we agree for all of us to work together for a bit here for our riders to have the most success as possible and advantage as possible for the day? We've got Paige up the road, and we need to now work together as a group to get at least within a minute of striking distance on the last lap.
This group can certainly be confident that they've got some of the best minds in American bike racing supporting them in the cars back behind. I know you talked about Rachel Hederman and her efforts kind of supporting some of the individual riders out there today, including Kate Courtney. We had a chance to chat with her about that before the managers meeting last night.
Very much a different dynamic to the kind of racing she's used to, but she has a massive amount of strength. So a lot of my advice really is about how to stay calm and utilize that strength at the times it's going to make the most difference, which is different on the road to the mountain bike. A lot more of the time on the mountain bike the strongest rider wins, whereas on the road it's often the smartest rider, not the strongest.
Behind the watts here.
No, and we've seen smart racing from this group today. What was a group of 6, now down to 3 because of Lauren Stevens making that attack on Bridge Street Climb, whittling it down to these 3. So again, like smart racing by these 3 teams. Paige Onweller has basically had a bird's eye view of this descent for a while now, for about an hour now.
Yeah. Certainly one of the advantages of having a gap like this, obviously being able to pick your own line. Not that I think that's a huge issue back in the group of 3 or 4, but your chasers, they just finished a little conversation back here, a little motivation among the group. I would say Lauren Stevens definitely going to be the mayor of this breakaway, kind of dictating to the group how things should go down. Kind of a weird dynamic with Kate Courtney. It would always be weird to tell Kate Courtney how to race her bike, but
yeah, it might be. And the thing is Lauren is a previous road national champion.
Look at Onweller looking up over the road.
So she might, now the gap is close enough, she can probably get a sense for where they are and maybe potentially see them. She can at least see like a follow vehicle or a moto in front of them.
And she's going to see this catch being made as Ashley Fry and Grace Arlinson have now made it back on. So group of 3 becomes a group of 5. Still don't see Chapman in here yet. We'll see if she gets back on, but that is Fry and Arlinson who have now tacked onto the back of the group. Gap continuing to come down here. I would guess that our next time check will be a little more shallow than 2 minutes. I'm going to say minute 55 across the bridge.
There you go. Good call, Brad. Let's see if Paige doesn't grab another bottle. We saw the ice sock being given to Kate Courtney. So again, talking about that temperature rising out there. But again, Paige is probably okay with it coming out of Bella Vista, Arkansas. not having anybody really following her in the vehicle. So see if she doesn't grab a neutral bottle or a water through this feed zone, this fast feed zone along the river here. Grace Arlenson right back to the front for her teammate, Lauren Stevens. See if Ashley Fry has anything left. Yeah, you have Lauren Stevens kind of giving a little motivation, right? You want this to stay positive as you bring her back, and you bring her back into the fold. We'll give you a little bit of reprieve, but we're going to need some work out of you. Try to, anyway.
That's a
Ashley
fine
has every
line
right
to
say
walk.
not good.
Yeah. Lauren Stevens has to be the boss that you like, right?
Exactly.
You got to do the work, but at the same time, you don't want them to start resenting you in this group. So this is your new chase group. What was 6 became 3 and is now back up to 5. I wouldn't be surprised if Jamie Chapman reappeared here if this group doesn't continue to put in efforts.
Everyone in that aerodynamic position, hands just on the hoods, trying to lean over as much as possible. Ashley Fry is definitely trying her best.
Fry's feeling that effort, that's for sure.
She is. I mean, she's looking the most used on the top end of that bike. Everyone else is very quiet. Look at Kate coming through right there.
This is the rotation that we were looking for earlier when we commented that the group could be working a little better together. This is what it should look like. It's a beautiful thing to watch a group working together.
Right? This is where they're probably making good time, or at least managing that gap to Paige with a lot less effort than what Paige is having to do.
And you can see just how wide open this is along the river. One of the few open stretches of this course so you can kind of get a look up the road and maybe look for those cars or their caravan. We saw Onweller looking over the river earlier. It's always a good sign when you got at least a bridge in between you and the chasers, a literal bridge. Boy, Onweller looking great, isn't she?
She is. You know, she's still just steady. She's kind of got a slower cadence, bigger gear. That's a good camera shot right there. A perspective from the chase group to see if they can see up the road. You can't even see the follow vehicles of Paige. Maybe you can just off into the distance. I couldn't quite tell. But you always like to have that little carrot, right? If you've been looking at this leaderboard come up to you and the time gaps open and close and back and forth, you know, it's always nice to have eyes on the prize up the road.
Onweller heading upwards one more time. Seems like Onweller getting a little more comfortable in the saddle. I'm not seeing as much of the ebb and flow that we were seeing earlier. A little more of a sustained effort now, getting a little more comfortable.
I think that's the attrition rate of the day, just kind of taking a toll, right? She doesn't want to stand up, and every time you stand up, your heart rate increases. So, and it's just it's a little bit harder to do every single time, like you were talking about. So I think she's just settling in, and a little bit of fatigue is finally starting to settle into her body. Great group of 5 still rolling through. Now they turn left under the bridge, so I bet they did have eyes at least on what was a follow vehicle of Paige.
It's a nice little confidence boost when you can at least see the cars up the road. So much easier. We say this so often, but it's so much easier to chase something that you can see.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And that's why it's such a good carrot to have, and try and keep Grace Arlinson with you and Ashley Fry as long as you can, and see if someone else doesn't hit it on this works climb and separate this group again. Got the party going on down here. I love it.
Absolutely. Incredible turnout here in Charleston. They have continued to grow this event year after year, and it is rapidly becoming one of our favorite national championship venues for our USA Cycling National Championships. All right, so Onweller on the way up. This group trying their best to bring back a 1 minute and 40-second gap on the penultimate time up the Wirtz Avenue climb. We're going to take one more break here. We'll pick our leaders up after this from your Scott Bikes live stream live on FloBikes. Finish line on Canal Boulevard, awaiting the front of our race for the last lap of racing coming up in your pro women's race. They'll be getting the bell when they come back through the line here as they complete this circuit one more time here in Charleston, West Virginia, which will include both of the Bridge Road and Wirtz Road climbs. We talked a little bit about this earlier, Lauren, but adding the second climb on this this circuit has really changed the way that each of these laps has been raced.
Yeah, again, the differences in the two climbs and also the differences in the two descents with the city laps in the middle of it. So beautiful climbs, and we've seen the attacks on Bridge Street climb. A little bit on Wirtz, but more so on Bridge Street climb. Wirtz is more all about positioning because you have the feed zone at the top of the climb.
Let me ask you this last lap. Where do you launch your attack if you're in this second group? I'm assuming Onweller is still away. Based on what you've seen from this group, do they do it on bridge? Do they do it on Wirtz? Or is there something else I'm missing out there?
Well, I wouldn't know. I was a sprinter. No, just teasing. You know, I would go back to historically what we've seen in the past when we've seen Kristen Faulkner go and how it whittles it down. I would think you're in on both, right? You're going to put an attack on bridge, see what you're left with, and if it's just you solo, you're trying to chase down Paige. Like, Paige is still up the road. The win is still up the road. You have to keep that in mind. You can start playing the tactical game, but you want to also know that you're playing that game, but you've got someone up the road going to win the jersey. So you're going to put an attack in on both of those fronts.
Ashley Fry grabbing a bottle from her Comp Edge staff or friends or family members or teammates, oftentimes at Nationals.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of families here, right? I mean, it's that's the beauty of Nationals is having the moms and dads out here and hearing the stories and getting a chance to meet everybody. That's some of the best parts of racing here in Charleston.
Kate Courtney jumping a little bit here.
Definitely setting a harder tempo.
Yep. The Ashley Fry fan club in full effect up there.
Did I hear 115?
I have not heard that on radio, but
from your guy yelling right there.
We'll call that the unofficial time board of the top of Wirtz. Well, one thing's for sure, this is going the wrong way for Paige Onweller now after spending a majority of the day putting time into this breakaway. Now, over the last two circuits, this breakaway has started reeling Onweller back in here. So really just a matter of time now. Whether or not she runs out of time before she gets to the finish remains to be seen. But
right, but they haven't called her yet, you know, and that's something that she has to continue to race forward with that knowledge, right? And not knowing what's going on behind you, but, you know, seeing that time gap come down on off of that leaderboard. But, you know, you never know in bike racing. You know, you just all types of things happen all the time. So especially if they start playing games back there, that's going to be the biggest key. You cannot start playing strategy without catching Paige first.
I don't know that Lauren Stevens is going to tolerate much of that in the chase group. If you stop cooperating, you're going to hear from her pretty quickly, I think. Still haven't seen Jamie Chapman back up into this group. There was a point where we thought she might have a chance to regain contact here and make it 6. But this one might end up with 5 only. Now, you also got to remember Lauren Stevens still got one teammate in this group. So if this one does come back together and they start racing strategy in this group, huge advantage to have Grace Arlinson up here.
It is, and she should use Grace as much as possible, 1, to catch Paige, and then 2, if it's all together at the finish, potentially even send her up the road in an attack and then tag anything trying to chase it down. You want to make the Kate Courtneys of the world, the Kira Payers of the world, use their energy to bring Grace back, and then that just sets Lauren up even more so. Mm-hmm. Paige just coming off of that descent back into town. About to take a right-hand turn up here. back on Canal Boulevard along the river.
Really is a beautiful ride along the river here and into downtown. I saw Luke Fetzer from Laguna Beach, California, saying it felt a little like being at home, riding along the ocean.
Yeah, there's a lot of boats out there. A boat launch is just right upriver. Ski boats. We've heard the steamboat horns going
Yeah,
off.
some tugs and barges coming along the river. It's been pretty cool.
Really nice.
Next year, you and I are taking a boat out.
Okay.
We're going to build our booth in a boat right on the middle of the water.
Aye, aye, Captain. Okay, they're saying the gap's 120.
Good, but not great for this chase group.
Well, you know, you've got 1 lap to go, 13 miles. I think this is perfect. If I'm Rachel and I'm talking to Kate, I'm saying you're sitting in a really good position here. You ladies keep rolling through. And again, we saw Lauren Stevens attack on Bridge Road climb, last climb. See if she doesn't put in another attack. And if at that point, if you're a minute 20 down, you've almost now, based on that attack, you're going to bring Paige back de facto. So we'll see if this isn't the lap at the top of Bridge Road, if that doesn't bring Paige back.
Chase group getting a time board check here. They're going to say minute 15 back to them and then 3:25 back to the field.
So that means Jamie is back in the field. Which is unfortunate for Lauren Stevens and that Aegis Leaders of Enchantment team. I know she would have loved to have had one more rider up there. You always want one more.
Oh, darn. She only has one. They'll only occupy 2 out of the 5 spots in this group.
Kira Payer, speed block to Rune rolling through. Kate Courtney rolling through, and I love that Ashley Fry looks like she's had a bit of reprieve. And
Look at this little conversation between Stevens and Arlinson here. Not much, but a head nod from Arlinson. They got a plan.
Kira Payer is riding really well today. You know, we haven't talked a whole lot about her. She's been so close, but it has just really had a hard time putting a race together, either crashes or injury or illness. So, you know, this could be a really great day for her, a really breakthrough race for her. Left of the screen, Paige Onweller, our leader. To the right of the screen, Chase group of 5. Minute 15 back.
Yeah, Kira Payer's going to be another big engine. If she can rev it here late, that'll bring back a big chunk of time.
Agreed.
Remember, she was 8th place in the individual time trial earlier this week, so she can put in those efforts. Whether or not she tactically decides to remains to be seen as we get ready to send these riders off for what will be the last circuit of racing out here. Going to be 13 miles to go for the leaders when they get onto this last circuit. So here is Paige Onweller, who has been the revelation of the 2026 Professional Road National Championships here, leaving the group behind solo just about an hour into this one, and has spent the last 90 minutes on our Jack Mason race clock. Away solo off the front. It does not look to be letting up anytime soon as Onweller heads out on her final circuit at the 2026 USA Cycling Road National Championships.
Getting one more look at that time board from our race officials. Giving a head nod, I got that.
Got the gravel in her. She still checked the line, make sure it's safe to take the corner, and make sure no one's chopping her on the inside.
This group about to turn left, and then they will be on their start-finish line and entering their last lap of racing as Paige Onweller goes up and over the bridge, up and over the river one more time. Again, that white contraption there to the left of Grace's face is their radio earpiece, and you'll see them basically move that radio microphone up and down whenever they're needing to talk or not talk.
Let's show this group on. One lap to go to this group. 5 riders still chasing Paige.
Again, not super organized here. They're just.
I think you're about to see an attack out of Aegis. We've seen them talking.
Yeah.
They just gapped off a little bit.
Yep.
Something, you know.
Probably on the climb. Remember, Lauren
Yes.
Stevens attacked this Bridge Street climb last time. That was what initially broke up this chase effort.
She's got Grace is basically going to lead them as hard as she can, probably to the base of this climb, and you're going to see one more attack. And this might be the time that we're going to catch Paige Onweller towards the top of this road.
Yeah, Onweller is fading here. The first time she went away, her first individual lap time was a 33:23. Lap after that was a 34:41, little slower. And then this last lap was a 35:32. So she has been turning in consistently slower lap times. Meanwhile, the Chasers just did a 34:03. So while Onweller was doing 35:30 laps, the Chasers just did 34. So minute and a half faster on that last circuit.
There you go, Grace Arlenson leading them over the bridge. Kate Courtney sitting on Lauren Stevens' wheel.
So Lauren Stevens going to see if she can try and time this one perfectly. Taking it down to the wire last time. Up the Bridge Road climb now. Arlenson going to drop her off, and here goes Lauren Stevens.
That's probably going to be the end of Ashley Fry as well. Kira Payer still in this group of 3. Kate Courtney's still there, responding to this attack. Now Kira Payer getting gapped off a little bit.
It's going to go down to Stevens and Courtney. Payer trying to hang on here. Oh, man. Oh, I thought they were out of the picture. I was like, what a ride.
You and I both. I was like, where did they go? Well, that leaderboard's going to quickly change.
Onweller going to be getting some bad news on her time board here pretty soon.
Look at the face of Paige right now.
This is a different Paige Onweller than we have seen the last few times up this climb.
I bet you could pan back right there from that moto and see the two chasers right behind her.
This one's going to come down to the wire today, that's for sure. If Paige Onweller is caught, this sets up a very interesting scenario here where we may be watching Lauren Stevens and Kate Courtney going head-to-head into the final few miles of racing here.
Don't quite have her in sight yet.
Stevens and Courtney trying to get there.
Kate also giving a look back just to see the damage done to anybody left behind. Well, Kate
Courtney going to attack. Here we go. Just trying to see if Lauren Stevens is able to respond. Little test attack here. Stevens got right on it. Gap down to 45 seconds for Onweller now up and over the top of Bridge. And they're going to update that down to 30, rapidly losing time to these two now.
Kate did try to flick an elbow, see if Lauren would come through. Here, now Lauren's coming through. Again, there was a little bit of reprieve just there. Again, they have to still focus on bringing Paige back.
Lauren, at what point are you confident or comfortable with the gap here? I mean, when do you need? When can you stop worrying about Paige and start worrying about your chase companion
when I can
here?
See her.
Okay. Which isn't much on this course.
Yeah,
That's going to be about 10 or 15 seconds on this course.
I want to put my eyes on her. I want to know she's right there. Again, that carrot that we were talking about earlier with the chase group, that also applies to me as well. And you've put forth these two efforts right now on this climb, and you're so close, and you know you've knocked down this time to Paige significantly, but you also haven't seen her quite yet.
Could not have picked two more professional riders to have in this chase. You're going to be hard-pressed to find these two making a tactical mistake, right? They are both well-versed in... Oh, Courtney. Oh, I see what's happening. Kira Payer's on the way back up, and Kate Courtney's like, look, if Kira Payer's catching us, we're not catching Paige Onweller.
Right, and and there you go. Now, if they can look up the road, I don't know from their point of view if they can see her, but we could. Just immediately, poor Kira.
Yeah.
Just makes contact and unfortunately cannot keep it. Brutal, brutal, brutal. But again, also we saw Paige, and she probably got a sense now that all the motos are getting pulled out of the gap, and she also put in a couple of diggers trying to keep her gap up the road and stay away from those two chasers. Good job, Kira Payer.
Nice.
Wow.
Way to roll it over.
Good effort.
This is so easy to just totally explode right now.
Yeah.
Just completely fall apart. But Payer's staying on it, going to try and salvage what will probably be a top 5 ride at Nationals. So just because you're out of the jersey contention here doesn't mean you're out of the race contention.
No, I'm definitely putting Paige on the podium. She's riding so well today. If she can stay away from whatever's left, if she gets caught, she hasn't been caught yet, right? She has to get caught first by Kate Courtney, by Lauren Stevens. She's about to turn left, and then she basically has a beautiful downhill descent. There's one little pitch right in the descent. Okay, so now they're just
that's
now
the left
seeing that
turn right ahead. Yep. This is going to be right around 15 seconds now. Maybe a little more. We'll call it 17 for the Chasers.
Now the day is starting to show on both of these riders. Lauren Stevens, head nodding just a little bit left and right. Kate Courtney dropping her shoulders just a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if they make up any time on Canal Boulevard along the river. If there's any wind factor out there, probably not yet.
And now Courtney on the attack a little bit here, putting Lauren Stevens on the ropes.
Yeah, there's, like I said, there's this little pitch still in the descent, and then they'll start descending again, just wanting to keep that speed and carry that speed up and over that little bit of a climb right there. Again, trying to keep Paige within sight. You're ready to really close that down. Now, you've seen her turn the corner. And again, Paige has probably opened up the gap here on this descent. Nice right-hand turn right there. Kate using all of the road. Gapping Lauren off a little bit there.
They saw Stevens had to pedal out of it, where Courtney able to coast around. Stevens going to get back on here. Remember, Lauren Stevens, second place in this race last year, took Kristen Faulkner to the line in a 2-up sprint. What was a 3-up sprint became 2 onto the start-finish stretch, and it's looking like she is going to be back with a very different competitor sprinting to the line here.
Kate very aware of Lauren's prowess and attacking ability, constantly looking over her shoulder even though she's on the front.
Like walking down a dark alley with a bag full of cash, waiting to get jumped here. Back over the bridge for Onweller here. We'll see the Chasers right behind her. There they are at the top of your picture, so they've got Onweller in sight. They're probably going to see her on the bridge here as well as they go back into Charleston.
And this will be the first time that Paige and Kate and Lauren have kind of put eyes on each other crystal clear. Look at Kate just pushing all the way through, even through that descent, up and over the bridge. Kate wants to make contact with Paige now.
So a road newbie, gravel pro, solo away, being chased by a mountain bike world champion and former road national champion and former gravel national champion in Lauren Stevens, with 2 gravel national championships to her name, and of course her road national championship back in 2021 in Knoxville, Tennessee. So Stevens has worn this jersey before. She's gotten a taste of it. She's used to wearing stars and stripes. And I'm sure she would like to get another one here in 2026. Kate Courtney, also a newbie to the road. Not a newbie to racing, that's for sure, but not a ton of racing. She's been racing with the national team over in Europe a little bit. Talk a little bit about her preparation into this. We are talking about like less than double-digit road races for Kate Courtney right now.
Yeah, and not knowing in the unknown. She knows she's strong. She knows she's strong against all the World Cup mountain bike racers, marathon mountain bike racers, even now the gravel racers that are really strong in the United States. So she knows she has the capability, and she definitely has the mindset, and she definitely has the team behind her, that Red Bull helmet. You know, she's got quite a brand for herself and her family. Like, she knows how to be successful. And they are so close to making contact with Paige Onweller right now. And you're talking about all these different riders, Brad, and all their different abilities and disciplines that they race. You're no longer just a one discipline rider in the sport of cycling. You do it all. These two are, I would say, working well together. Kate definitely looking a little bit more from Lauren there for a little bit more work.
I would say at this point, riding is pretty much on the wall for Paige Onweller up the road. These riders can start playing games now between these two. They can start racing against each other. Onweller's within striking distance. That's her right up the road there. And I think Kate Courtney realizes.
Make contact with their first man.
Yeah.
Do not,
Yeah.
even like 3 seconds, 5 seconds. We've seen this time and time before. You think you've got them, you let off the gas. Paige just keeps pushing forward. You got to be careful, Brad. You got to make contact. Like, you have to get to her wheel. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Now remember, they're about to head up the Wirtz climb one more time. Last time up and over. Onweller has been holding her own, just kind of maintaining on the way up, but I would expect that catch to be made this time up Wirtz.
Also, as soon as you make that left-hand turn, you go from this flat road to a little bit of an elevation pitch. It's maybe 1%, 2% as you lead to the Wirtz climb. And so that could potentially be another opportunity to make that final closing moments to Paige. Paige just looking over her shoulder right there, knowing that it's two riders.
Yeah.
Knowing who, you know, she knows who Kate Courtney is, and she knows who Lauren Stevens is. She's done her homework. So knowing who they are and not letting off the gas.
Love this fight from Paige Onweller.
I do too.
A refusal to throw in the towel and give up all the work that she has done off the front here. So this is going to be the third group on the road. You're looking at Chase 2 right now with Payer, Fry, and Arlinson.
Grace just pouring out a little bit of liquid out of her bottles, wanting to be as light as possible in these final miles. Paige moving all the way to the left side of the road, knowing that all she has to do is look to the right side to see these two riders coming, and they still haven't caught, and it's still, you see them moving back and forth across the road here. Kate's asking Lauren to pull through. She's not doing it, and it opens up the gap again.
They're both trying to get one more effort out of the other, right?
Yes.
They're both saying, all right, why don't you finish this off? But that is resulting in the job not getting done, and just like that, Paige Onweller goes a little further away from this group.
And she looks back and she sees that.
Wow.
They're playing the games, knowing that Wirtz is coming up.
A lot of games being played. Man,
left-hand turn.
I'll tell you what, if Onweller could put in a real good dig up here up Wirtz, she could absolutely surprise this group.
Agreed, because once she gets across the top, watch out. You're going to have to pedal on that descent to good luck on trying to catch her on the descent. This is giving Paige motivation right now. They're back almost out of sight.
Yep.
All that work that they have done up and over bridge, across Canal Boulevard Road.
And then meanwhile, these chasers not far back either. Again, that's Fry, Payer, and Grace Arlinson also going to be with them. It's a good ride for them.
Great ride.
This is going to be a really good battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th place on the road.
Again, this is why, you know, you never give up, because, again, these games that Kate Courtney and Lauren Stevens are playing, trying to put one in front of the other, is bringing these 3 back to them. There you go.
These are going to be lapped riders that they're picking up here. That rider in front of them not in contention here. These will be your chase 1 as your 3 leaders.
That's pretty sure that was the catch to Paige.
All right, so we're going to keep our eye on this. We're going to take one more break here, and when we come back, we will have uninterrupted live coverage of your 2026 USA Cycling Professional Women's Road National Championships. Last time up Wart's Climb, and then it's back down to the finish to see who's wearing stars and stripes at the end of this one today.
Embrace the rhythm of the city. The vibrant metropolis meets cycling's greatest champions in a celebration of speed, grit, and human triumph. Book your stay in Canada.
Experience teaches you one thing in racing. It's all about the finish line. Every race will test you, push you farther than you thought possible. Hours in the saddle. Hundreds of miles in your legs. Early mornings that most people will never see. Somehow, it's all worth it. Because the moment you cross that line, giving everything you have,
Kristen Faulkner will repeat in 2025.
you'll spend every day chasing it again. If you've ever wondered what racing feels like, this is the moment. Finish line waits. Come race with us.
Finish line along Canal Boulevard, awaiting the arrival of our pro women's field in what is shaping up to be an extremely, extremely tight finish to the end of our 2026 Professional Road National Championships. Lauren, let's talk really quickly about how we got to where we are right now. It really started on the day with the solo attack coming off the front from Paige Onweller, and she has not looked back since.
She sure hadn't, and it basically drew out the best, and we saw that chase group of 6 with the Aegis Leaders of Enchantment making up most of that breakaway of 6, and then that even whittled down to the 2 of Kate Courtney and Lauren Stevens, and that's what we're left with.
And then we saw the battle between Stevens and Courtney back and forth all day, starting to play games. Onweller was away. She came back. She was away. She came back. And then as they headed up Wirtz, Onweller starting with about 15 seconds on the way up. Will that be enough for her to the line today?
And then even Kira Payer, Grace Arlinson, and Ashley Fry were making their way back to the chase group of 2.
And this is them on the way up. See that one rider in front of them, I think.
That's Paige.
Is going to be Onweller as the catch made on the way back.
So that means that Lauren Stevens and Kate Courtney have now passed Paige Onweller. So national championship is coming down to Lauren Stevens and Kate Courtney up the road.
Let's go get a look at them. So now Onweller going to try and tack on to the back of that group. That'll be it for her national championship ambitions. And this will be our look at the gap up to your 2 leaders up the road. They are gone now. And I don't know if we'll catch them on the descent here because they are going to be cooking.
Wow. I mean, that was a significant blow past Paige Onweller. So, you know, we thought that maybe she could even hold on for 3rd, but it looks like she's going just backwards so fast. Kate Courtney and Lauren Stevens still together.
So this was earlier on the climb as we are watching the catch that was made on the way up. And we'll see if we can figure out where Onweller got dropped. Surprised she hung with this group after they made the catch. I mean, normally you see a rider get caught, they almost immediately go out the back, but it looks like Onweller was able to hold on.
Yeah, I also think just because of the games that Lauren Stevens and Kate Courtney were playing on Canal Boulevard, you know, they made that contact and it kind of neutralized everybody. And they hadn't quite gotten on the works climb in earnest until they kind of bent to the right up here. So, you know, maybe that is probably where the attack actually went. Right now, they're just matching Paige's pace.
I'm also going to be curious to see who it was that launched the attack, whether it was Kate Courtney or Lauren Stevens. And it had to be an attack because Onweller's not foul. Here you go. It was Lauren Stevens attacking the group. Courtney went with her, and Onweller just wasn't able to respond to it. So that will be the decisive move of this race right here, where Lauren Stevens decided to leave Paige Onweller behind on the Wirtz Road climb. Onweller fought as long as she could.
And Kate was right there to respond.
She actually held on for a while. And they were taking it easy right here. This is not aggressive riding from Stevens or Courtney. Looks like both of them were waiting for the fuse to be
right,
lit
and
here.
the game started playing again. Kate's looking over her shoulder again. And Lauren using Paige as a blocker almost.
So this must have been the winning move right here, or the big separation.
And again, for Paige to respond is huge.
Yeah.
This is where it pitches even more.
Steepest part, yeah, and Stevens timed this right on it. She knew exactly what she was doing. Hit him on the hardest section of this climb. Wow.
but Kate Courtney steady as ever, right on her wheel.
All right, let's. All right, so that was the decisive move on the climb where Lauren Stevens dropped Paige Onweller, our leader for most of the day. Onweller did not get back on, and that sets up this scenario. Live pictures on the way back into downtown Charleston, where Kate Courtney and Lauren Stevens will go head-to-head for a road national championship.
And again, let's see how long they work together until it's all bets off, and who's got one last big punch to take it to the line. Do they bring it down to a sprint? We've seen Lauren Stevens definitely try her hand at the sprint. She's been there.
Yep.
Kate hasn't been there yet, right?
Yep.
So this is new territory for Kate. Lauren is going to be the most experienced in a sprint, a 2-up sprint, a small sprint. It was a 3-up sprint last year.
You know, Kate Courtney will understand the basics of the tactics here, right? She understands you want to be second to start the sprint. She understands the importance of drafting and all that. But Stevens will definitely have a little advantage here in terms of
Well, knowing where the last turn is and where the finish line is, she'll definitely have that down. But again, you're going to take Kate Courtney to the line, one of the World Cup best mountain bike racers in the world and marathon world champion.
Meanwhile, Race Radio reporting Onweller has joined the chase group back behind. So this is going to be her with Fry, Payer, and Arlinson now. One of these riders going to have a shot at a bronze medal today. So this will be interesting to watch. We're going to get a 2-for-1 special today.
Love it. And what a ride by Ashley Fry. My gosh, she still is just suffering through these miles.
All 4 of these riders have had an incredible performance today. The work that Grace Arlinson did for Lauren Stevens, Paige Onweller riding solo on the front.
Kira Payer coming back to Kate Courtney and Lauren Stevens on the climb, only to get dropped again.
They've all had a great day.
Agreed.
I'm sure it'd be a little greater with a bronze medal around their neck at the end of the day today, but unfortunately for this group, there's only one.
Both riders now in their drops. We've seen Kate basically on the hoods almost all day. Now in that race-ready position, sprint-ready position. Lauren going way wide. Wanting to take a bit more of a lead through this turn, see if she can't get a bit of a gap.
Gap coming down to 15 seconds to these chasers on Race Radio. I don't think the leaders need to worry about it yet, but Lauren Stevens does. She's still flicking her elbow. And now the wait begins. Kate Courtney in the blue, Lauren Stevens in the yellow. Into their last 2 miles of racing to determine our 2026 USA Cycling Road National Championship. Meanwhile, action starting behind them as Grace Arlinson has gone with Kira Payer. They're on their way up to these two.
That would definitely set up Lauren really well.
And you see Fry and Onweller trying to close down that gap. Paige Onweller desperately holding on to Ashley Fry's wheel here as Fry puts in a heroic ride to try to close this gap.
keep in mind, Lauren Stevens has won this year Redlands Bicycle Classic as well as Tour de Gila, so she is on good form this year. Kate knows that.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do if you're Kate Courtney? How do you beat Lauren Stevens in this scenario? You're not going to drop her. Probably not going to beat her in the sprint. What else is left?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to try and do my best to stay away as long as possible to where Grace can't come back to Lauren to help her in the finish. And then I'm going to try and out-sprint Lauren. I'm going to have one more last-ditch effort. So right now, Kate is in that gray area of what to do. And they're not far behind Kate and Lauren. There you go.
Oh.
There you go. There's an attack by Kate. Can it stick?
They're going to have 2 more turns. One more left, and then a left after that. Then it's on to Canal.
Lauren's fighting. Good move by Kate.
Courtney going to have a gap into the final corner. Let's see if Lauren Stevens can close this one down. Kate Courtney got the jump on her from about 700 meters out. Stevens struggling to respond here. Here comes Kate Courtney.
I think Kate might have this. What a push by Kate, all the way to the line.
Did the work early, and it will pay off. Kate Courtney will win the 2026 USA Cycling Road National Championships, beating Lauren Stevens to the line.
Wow, what a ride by Kate Courtney. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She sends racing right there. Kudos to your competitor. Lauren Stevens coming in second. It looks like Grace Arlinson's also going to have a great day.
Wow.
Wow. What does it mean? Look at what it means to Kate.
Incredible. Could not ask for a better champion here as Kate Courtney begins her road career with a national championship win.
Wow, Molly Brewer right there.
Nice move. Thought I messed that one up a few times.
Dee Dee Berry giving hugs all around. Her son Ashlyn Berry successful yesterday, also racing today. Wow. Kate Courtney, all the different disciplines.
You know, it also kind of builds into the legend of Kate Courtney. She really can do it all,
She
right?
sure can.
And this certainly changes, I think, the way that a lot of people look at the next couple of years of American road racing as Kate Courtney enters the skinny tire scene now ahead of the LA 2020 Olympics.
World Championships this fall in Montreal.
A lot of big races coming up. It is a good time to be an American bike racing fan.
What a move, and when she went, it was full on, that was it. And it was an early move. Lauren tried to respond and just was so close. And what a long, relentless sprint by Kate Courtney and that She Sends racing team. To be a solo rider all day and putting yourself in the right position all day, it's mentally taxing. And again, just talking about who you have in the car behind you on race radio.
Yeah.
It's so important. And the amount of skill and knowledge that Kate has in racing and how savvy she is and the calm and cool head that she has under these high pressure situations, it's a massive advantage for her. She's been at the highest level in all these different disciplines now.
And she took it all the way to the line like a true pro. You know, some things in bike racing are universal. Some skills translate no matter what bike you're wearing, no matter what tires you're on.
Yep. You couldn't say it any better, Brad. Like, it's just, she has such a sprint, and that was what we were talking about right to the finish of, like, how do you play that sprint so well against Lauren, knowing that she's a smart, savvy rider as well, having the experience on this course where Kate hadn't.
And my favorite part about Kate Courtney, immediately start talking about what happened, what went right, what went wrong. Debriefing the bike race.
It's her team mechanic.
Wow. A lot of emotion for Kate Courtney today. And you got to think, I mean, this is a woman who has won some of the biggest events in the world.
Right.
The biggest targets that you could put for an athlete. Kate Courtney has done it. But the Road National Championship seems a little more special to her here. It's going to be an exciting year as Kate Courtney wins her national championships here, beating Lauren Stevens to the line in a late race attack. How about Grace Arlinson holding on for third place today as Aegis Leaders of Enchantment will go second and third on the day.
And Kira Payer having a great ride today. Ashley Fry with the hero-man's work. Oh my gosh, bless her heart. She was out there so just putting it all out there. And Paige Onweller animated the entire day, the entire race.
How about Megan Garnier in for 10th place out there today? It was 10 years ago that she won the national championship, and now 10 years later finds her way to a top 10 finish. How about that?
Love it. Alexis Magner, also some of the women that we were talking about coming over solo, EF Education, Oatly, as well as Caroline Resin coming in with a phenomenal top 9 position right there for the St. Michel team.
Well, it certainly wasn't an easy day of racing out there, that's for sure. We got some worthy winners.
And that's what Paige wanted. That's what she talked about in her pre-race interview. She was going to make it a hard race for herself no matter what. And there's Paige also giving congratulatory hugs.
Again.
It's going to be a hard time getting Kate in here. She's so excited, and she's going to talk to everybody.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. We are just a few of the people that want to congratulate the new national champion. So we will grab a word with our new national champ as we take a short break here. We'll have her in the booth when we come back from your national championships live on FloBikes.
Welcome back to Charleston, West Virginia. We have just watched a barn burner come down to the line on Canal Boulevard as Kate Courtney earns a national championship on the road. Her first of her career in what has been a storied career, but how impressive was that today for a mountain bike, gravel, dirt, fat tire rider to come out to the Road National Championships in her first time and win it.
And team owner, opportunity creator, however many other things you want to talk about the amazing Kate Courtney, we're going to say it because it's phenomenal.
You know, we were expecting big things from Kate coming into the day today, but to see her answer those and respond to it in a way that only Kate Courtney can, it also speaks to her ability to take that pressure, ride at the highest level, and deliver when it matters most.
And to set yourself up for success by having the best team behind you as possible. And you have someone like Rachel Hederman in the car with you. You have Alan Lim backing you up. You've got your team mechanic here, Eric, and you've got all the strength and knowledge and confidence into this race that you can have and control all the variables that you can. And that's what she did and put on such a great clinic out there today.
Let's go back and take a look at how this one played out today. The other big story of the day, of course, was Paige Onweller, the freelancer, privateer, gravel rider. I'm not sure what you call them in road racing, but whatever it was a great show for Paige out there today.
That Trek Dripless team should be very proud of Paige today. She had such a great ride, still coming in with a great result for her team. Basically being off solo for the entire day, only to be caught right on the last climb of the day. And then she even responded to 2 of the attacks on Works climb and just couldn't hold on for the finish.
Well, we saw this along Kanawha. The catch was almost made, and then they came back. They went away again and came back. The games were being played, but then Lauren Stevens launches the fatal attack on Works climb that eventually wraps up this race.
She sure did. Lauren Stevens put in 2 significant attacks on Works and did everything that she could possible to set herself up for success. Good job on getting second place on the day. That team, Aegis Leaders of Enchantment team, did such a good job, but unfortunately just not enough to respond to Kate Courtney.
And the celebration on the line with a lot of people wanting to grab a word and a hug with our new national champion as we welcome Kate Courtney into the booth here. Kate, congratulations. An incredible performance out there today. I want to start with your feeling on the line. How did that compare to the many times that you've lifted your hands on the line? How does this one compare in your career?
This was a really special one. I think I've got like 7 or 8 silver medals from mountain bike national championships at home. So to finally pull off a national championship again and pull on that jersey, it's beyond words. Yeah.
Is there anything you can't do? I mean, my God.
Lots of things, but
no, I mean, we were just talking about you know, World Cup XC racer, you marathon world champion, gravel racer, now road racer. It started your own foundation. Like, it's just amazing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think part of the foundation and part of this team is inspiring people to go for it. And I think for me, I really needed to give myself the chance to experiment and put myself in new, uncertain situations where I didn't have expectations and I could really go for it. And I did that today, and it worked out.
Talk about today a little bit. Like, what was it like out there responding to the Aegis team, having Lauren Stevens, basically breathing down your neck, and the attack of Paige Onweller? Talk us through some of the day.
Yeah, I think, I'm still really new to road racing. I've only done a few races. So I was lucky enough to be in with a good crew. I had Alan Lim and Rachel Hederman in my ear helping me kind of understand the tactics. And honestly, halfway through the race, exactly what I didn't want to happen had happened. Paige was up the road, Jamie Chapman Bridge, and I thought, oh man, like I let an Aegis rider up the road. Lauren's going to sit in. It's probably... we'll see how motivated they are. But as soon as that gap started to come down and the group started working, I knew, okay, it's probably going to be a war of attrition and come down to that last lap. And I was just trying to save enough and be smart, but also keep the pace on so that we actually had a chance at it. And then, of course, trying to figure out how to play that final. I haven't been in that many situations like that, so I'm really glad that I was able to stick the landing.
Yeah, you did.
What was your mindset headed into the day? I mean, what was success for you before the race started? What was your goal going into the day today?
Yeah, my little mantra today was everything to gain. I think I've come into a lot of nationals where it felt like I had everything to lose, right? Either you had the jersey or you were the top performing World Cup athlete, and so you really felt like anything less than a win is a disappointment. And it felt really freeing to be in this race and know that as long as I gave everything, I was going to be really proud and I was going to learn a lot, right? So if I played the tactics wrong and that hadn't worked out in my favor, I would have learned a big lesson and played my cards a little differently next time. But I think today I learned to never give up and to keep fighting to the line.
Also, we were just watching the sprint finish there, trying to time it just right because you looked back, you probably saw that you had Grace Arlinson coming at you. You only have so much to go for the finish, and you have Lauren Stevens sitting on your wheel. When do you make that move, and, what is that thought? Is it just gut feeling? Do you turn your brain off?
Yeah, I think it is a feeling. So for me, when we were coming through there the last few laps, I noticed I was really banking those turns well and carrying a lot of momentum out. I saw a few times that I was behind Lauren, I could kind of get a little momentum out of them, and so I thought, instead of playing the cat and mouse game, which realistically she's probably better at. She's a really smart bike racer, and I know never to underestimate her wily moves at the end. So I figured going early, banking those turns, and then just holding it and not letting up for one pedal stroke until I was across the line was probably my best shot. And I got a tiny gap and rode it across the line.
It all worked out. We talked about your mindset coming into this one. What is your mindset leaving nationals now? Do we see more of Kate Courtney on a road bike from here on out? How does this change things for you, or does it?
Yeah, I mean, I love to represent a jersey, so I got to wear it, and we'll see. But I think these wins, they're so few and far between, and anytime you can put it together, it's really special. And I think as a young athlete, I was always like, next race, next race, next race. And now I know when these things come together, you've got to celebrate them and celebrate them with your team. I'm looking at Eric, my mechanic, who's been through a lot with me. And we'll definitely sit in the glow of this one for a minute because it was a big deal, and I'm really proud that I was able to pull it off. And it takes a big team and a lot of hard work to have days like these. So we'll savor this one for a bit and then try to show up in that jersey ready to fight.
Well, it sounds like we're at least going to get to see you represent the jersey a few times, or we'll leave the option open.
We're keeping people guessing.
All right.
It's my year of radical experimentation.
Well, you heard it here first. This may be the year that we see the radical experimentation come to fruition with Kate Courtney on a road bike. More, Kate, congratulations on an incredible show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so
and thank you
much.
for an awesome show here at our national championships. We're going to see Kate on the podium here in a little bit as we get ready for our pro men's race coming up here a little later. But we'll let Kate get back there and celebrate with her people. I know Eric's patiently waiting here, so why don't you get out there and celebrate a well-deserved national championship.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Lauren doesn't get much better than that.
Not at all.
Worthy champion on the podium today, and cannot wait to see what is next in the Kate Courtney saga here. The story continues, as always, and that's one of the beautiful things about a racing career in this sport. It's never over, right?
No, and for someone so accomplished to say that, of we're just going to take this today and enjoy it first, and then we'll start to broadcast out what we see the future to look like. So very much she should enjoy this, and that'll be an exciting party for them. And looking forward to seeing her maybe toe the line for another road race.
All right, so as we wrap up our pro women's event, getting ready for pro men, coming up next, we're going to take another break here from Charleston, and we'll be right back after we thank some sponsors on your Scott Bikes live stream of the 2026 USA Cycling National Championships on FloBikes.
Experience teaches you one thing in racing. It's all about the finish line. Every race will test you, push you farther than you thought possible. Hours in the saddle, hundreds of miles in your legs, early mornings that most people will never see. Somehow, it's all worth it. Because the moment you cross that line, giving everything you have,
Kristen Faulkner will repeat in 2025.
you'll spend every day chasing it again. If you've ever wondered what racing feels like, this is the moment. Finish line awaits. Come race with us.
Black and hard edges, cold, exact, and almost clean. Be in the now, through the strain, through the line, through the ground. Not for the finished, not for the crowd, only the body, the line. And now you finally enter what you found. And then
and strengthened by determination. Pursuit of excellence. That's Jack Mason. Be your best.
Pro women just wrapping up here in Charleston in our penultimate race of the weekend. Just one more to go here with pro men coming up. Lauren, what did we learn from that pro men's race that we can apply to the pro men here this afternoon?
Excuse me, that it is an aggressive race and that these climbs are extremely important to, one, cast away and from the peloton, and also to bring back whatever break is out there.
Never over till it's over. I think that's what I learned watching Paige Onwiller out there for a while. I thought she had it. Then seeing the Kate Courtney and Lauren Stevens group come back, it is possible to catch them on that final climb. So you got to race all the way up and over that climb every single time on this course.
Yeah, you got to think about Paige had, what, 2.5, 3 minute break. And, you know, you were I think at one point you're like, well, Paige has this one.
I was ready to award the jersey right there.
But, you know, you can never say never, and especially the attrition rate of this course and how hard it really is, and that it's national championships.
Yep.
And you see how much it meant to Kate Courtney, right? I mean, she has so many jerseys at home, right? Some of the best jerseys in the world, and it is still an important day to even someone of her caliber.
Well, if this men's race is anything like what we saw with the pro women, we are in for a great one. Men's racing resumes at 1 o'clock local time. We're about an hour and a half away from that. We'll be back on air with you at 12:45, 15 minutes before the pro men's start. So we're going to take a quick break here from Charleston, and we'll be back with live coverage of your pro men's race at about a little over an hour from now. For Lauren Stevens, my name is Lauren Hall. Sorry, my name's Brad Soder, and we'll be back with more coverage here on FloBikes.